me know.
Yeah.
Looks like it's happened.
Woohoo!
Yahoo!
Yahoo!
You wouldn't steal a handbag.
Well,
You wouldn't. You should all know me.
Well, sound seems to be happening. So
yeah,
that's good.
I can hear sound happening, so that's good. Yeah, I am pleased by this.
Are you?
Well, we'll see. That's always a play by ear, right? Okay. So, welcome to Starfinder, the Fragments of Eternity, session 97. It is the 5th of July, 2021. I am Ryan, the GM. Here are the players.
And I just realised it's me first. Hello, I am Colin. I probably should have let Nico go first since it's no longer Pride. I am playing Likeable Quint, your sneaky, spooky, altogether cookie space cop coast to coast. I hope I am suitably audible, and I hope you are too, America.
America. Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Something. Hello,
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Nico. And I'm playing Zora, the Vest Captain. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm Alex. I'll be playing Weird, the Android Mechanic, and happy birthday, Owl City.
Yeah.
I think I'm using my time well.
Owl City. What a band I've not listened to in a wee while.
These are good.
Oh,
Yeah,
He's good.
and stuffs.
Sorry, we're already talking over you. Callum.
Rubbish.
Please carry
no,
on.
I'm just moving on. Sorry.
Okay.
It's okay. I'm sorry.
I'm moving on in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Cal. I will be playing Zig, the mystical space rat from this sun, in this universe, not the universe that Callum is in. Yeah, little rat boy.
Yeah.
What about Zig, though?
Oh yes, and Zig is a wizard. He's not a wizard at all, but
It's a good ass.
Wizard
Yeah.
Harry.
He's a space wizard. He gets to be
You're
that.
a prick, Harry.
what?
You're a wizard.
Harry did. No.
No.
I'm not going to say.
No. So, what is remember from last time?
So.
Something dark side.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about right. I remember playing poker.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there was space poker involved.
Yeah, see, I knew that.
Fuck.
That's how we ended last time with space
the
poker.
Madvin,
Yep, we did. Yep.
the crew,
You recruit
much
them
to
in.
their possible chagrin.
Yeah, she seems alright so far.
Yeah.
So far.
Allegedly okay.
Alright.
So far, so good. So far. That's a Megadeth reference.
Yeah.
Megadeth.
Okay. Anything else happen?
Did anything else happen?
It's really hard to say. This is about a year ago now.
Did we land? No, we did not.
Did I book the meeting?
Did you book it at
I feel like I was going to and then didn't, but maybe I did and I've just forgotten. I'm not doing a bit. I genuinely don't fucking remember.
I mean, that's how I schedule every meeting ever. I forget, and then
I think you did send off a message.
Yeah.
Just with some details saying that you were like in the near the locale, basically.
Oh yeah, that rings a bell. I did remember, but I forgot that I had remembered.
Yeah. But luckily you remembered that you'd forgotten.
But I only remembered that I remembered that I remembered that I'd forgotten.
Yeah, 97, folks. 97 sessions of this shit.
This is how we got numbers up so high.
Yeah, so we have that. You're still waiting to hear back from that, to my knowledge, unless I have deleted that memory from my own brain.
No, I'm pretty certain I was still waiting to hear back.
The only other thing I really remember that came up last time was Alice had a bit of a dilemma on her hands as well with Finn.
Yes.
She was pretty cut up by that. Didn't know what necessarily like she's like, oh, I can fix the problem in 2 seconds if I just reset him. But I don't want to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That was sad.
Yeah. So she's having that wee dilemma. While Finn's a broken AI at the moment. And what else do we have? We've still got the mission for Matva. Or the mission against Matva, I should probably say. That's the thing that our wonderful Captain Admiral has.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. I do indeed.
Yeah. But to my knowledge, you are all aboard the final hour. And that's pretty much where we left it, right? You didn't leave, did you yet? Or I feel like you are still like waiting. And Lyko went off to go check up with the new crew member to basically give them the talk, you know, because he's the chief of security. So
yeah,
yeah. I discovered Edgar and Dmadvin and CC playing poker, and he joined in. So yeah, it was good. It was very good. Well, let's start then by looking at goals. So, goals. What's your goals, Zara?
What is my goal? Slay the king. Something along the lines anyway. Discover the whereabouts of Matva.
fuck money, get bitches. You know.
Speaking of Lyko, what was your goal?
My goal was something to do with the crew. Yeah. It's not that anymore. Sorry, it's the clarify Shako situation with Halen and or Babak. So it is relating to the Kifalari incident, but it is specifically Shakos.
Yeah. And weird.
I am doing a business.
At least
make
one
my business
business.
work.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. At least one business. Yep.
Important business.
And Zig.
Bam! Ellie, the Union. Reunite the Dry Queens.
Yep.
Nail them together.
Yeah.
Don't cross the queens.
Yeah. There's a session title when we get there, right? So, Callum, what's the general goals?
The general goals are: we are going to deliver Edgar to Triaxis, steal the merciless bluff. Worth jumping to level 18. I think we're going to get it. Conclude the Kivalari case, deliver Egg to Solar Monastery, and gain useful Emma O info.
Yeah.
Combat goals. And leveling.
Level goals are my favourite goals. So, I think we'll open up with a roll, and Michael, do you want to give me a sense motive roll in 2 seconds? 1 second.
Sensei Motif, yeah, love to.
There we go.
Right. Okay. I sense motive
Okay.
like so. Quite
Perfect. Can you roll a D100 for me?
well. I can.
Perfect.
And I will.
Okay. You've made 47 credits in the game so far.
Okay, nice.
So that's what you're sitting on at the
something.
moment. Yeah. Which is not bad. I think, was your buy-in 50? Was that it?
That sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, so you can add 96 to your sheet. Total. I said you're up
Okay.
to 46.
Hey.
Yeah. You're probably getting suspicious
Right.
looks from CC. Yeah. I feel like sense motive's the best thing for poker, right? That felt like a good poker skill.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that would be one.
It was that or culture, let's face it, so I made my choice.
But that
Okay.
left me at there we go. There we go.
Right, so who's doing what on the ship and what's the overall plan?
Playing poker.
Yep.
What was I doing on the ship?
I think last I seen you, weren't you in like the canteen getting
Oh,
food?
I'd probably just munching away. Aye.
Leading.
Leading the fight against hunger. Yeah. So,
Hunger doesn't spend
but like to kind of like
checks.
remind Zora, like what's probably going through Zora's head is the ship is in reasonable condition. The crew are a wee bit on the heavy side regarding the fact that you've still got Edgar on board, and you've now got the Madvin. You also have the loose end that is Query along with the Nida at the moment. Elsewhere currently. There's obviously some things that happened in Akaton that may or may not be disastrous, depending on the wake or power vacuum they're in, with Smiling Durwa, that you are somewhat related to.
Yeah.
In that, yeah. So that will be there. You've got all the stuff with the Merciless Blade being here. Yeah. And then your mission to track down the Event Horizon herself, Matva. Yeah. So that's what you've got to deal with as Admiral.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
What would you like to tackle first, sir?
What would we do next? That's the question.
Mhm.
What was the next plan? Did we have to deliver to Edgar yet? Is that a thing?
Why don't you just, why don't you call it a meeting?
We call it the end of meeting.
I was going to say, why don't you just call yourself a meeting, and then you can actually ask your actual crew this.
Aye, right, cool. So, like, this is your captain speaking for the Tannoy, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that
is-
Alice has at least fixed the intercom system, so that's fine.
Report to the meeting room. I don't know why I've turned into like some British commander or some sort for this time.
Hey, if MJ was going to be the evil lizard race, it was going to be the Britons, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
Wow. Well, there are worse things you could have
What's a
said there,
Pinky?
to be fair.
Yeah.
Cup of cocoa?
Yes, indeed. Thank you, I get that reference. Jokes away, old boy. Such good little CPUs, they're called. Yeah, CPUs. As opposed to the agents from CGI of Fax Modem and Data Nilly. Yeah. Fantastic. Anyway, reboot references aside, folks. And I guess I'll take this opportunity just to share my reboot icons. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Those are in chat. Yes. So, weird. Are you in the briefing room already? Since you've kind of been using it as like a makeshift workspace.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was filling it with.
The last thing you used it for was the drift bomb. That you and Edgar built. But beyond
Also,
that,
I'm just
I don't know.
sweeping up explosives.
Probably, yeah, like probably getting rid of whatever you have cannibalized. Given that, so yeah. So I assumed you would probably be there unless you had something to do elsewhere.
No, that sounds like an appropriate place to be.
Okay, yeah. Is anyone not attending the meeting for any particular reason?
Are we present but not attending?
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
That doesn't bug me, it's the captain
As
that needs to
the
do with that shit.
Dutiful officer that I am, I will attend.
Excellent.
Both in mind and body.
Excellent.
Good. That's why I want my security officers.
Because I don't believe in mind-body dualism.
With that though, when you go to get up to leave, you're at the poker game. I think CC goes to protest by like screeching a bit, and then I think Edgar and Demadfin look at each other and go, "Do we attend?" Or do we stay here? And I think all three of them just turn and look at you as you've stood at the table.
I'll just click. I'll just you just hear in the distance, even though it's a wee bit more. Senior staff only.
And then I think as we hear that as well, I think CC just chuckles and then just starts dealing the next hand of cards out.
Sorry, guys.
One of CC's hands just like waves you off as if, you know, I get out of here.
Okay. Yeah, and I will go.
Yep. So yeah, use the senior staff assemble at the briefing room.
Good. How's everybody's day?
Ivan gets unplugged, by the way, and does follow Lyko down the corridor.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Chief, what is it, morale officer or something?
Imagine me giving him morale. Oh, that'd be so good.
I mean, bouncing tunes, man.
Right?
Bouncing
Yeah,
tunes.
right. I'm not necessarily against this plan. What did we give Ivan? He is King of the Ooze.
Oh,
So
the King of the Ooze,
arguably,
right,
he
fair
has the
enough.
highest rank.
Yeah, he is. Fair enough.
He's also the only one that's been in a film in the 90s.
God, was that still the 90s?
Did you mean the Biker Mice from Mars have a film?
Wow. I've got.
I mean, I assume not.
I hope
Also,
so,
like
'cause
the
I watch it.
full intro song to Biker Mice from Mars is utter gold.
Yeah, good show.
It's a pretty good show indeed.
Yep.
How does it go? I kind of feel like it was just, wasn't it just some like saying biker mice from Mars or something?
Yeah, but that was
there's
what
actually
Spider-Man
a full
happened.
song though, that isn't like used as the full intro. But there's like an actual proper like hair metal song. It's great.
I remember. Okay, yeah, I sort of remember it being hair metal stuff.
It's just a glorious concept. In general, was that show? I loved that show to bits. I had I think it was it Vinny, the white kind of furred one? I had the toy of that with the red bike. I always remember.
I was a street sharks kind of guy myself.
What was the quote? In this wild and woolly universe, you can only count on three things: your brains, your bros, and your bike.
Yep. It's just oh dear. Hi, that's an RP waiting to happen, guys, right? So let's just
This men got their own way waiting to happen.
oh dear. I think we might need to scrap the next campaign idea, guys, in favour of a Biker Mouse from Mars game. Just saying. Yup. It's fine. What we'll do is we'll use Starfinder for it. That'll hold up. It'll just be Isoki from Akaton. And I'm into that.
Oh yes, then we can get into the real nitty gritty of the vehicle rules.
Yeah. Those rules that we don't really see often in my games. Yep.
Damn hot.
Anyway,
Rules
so
bad.
right, Admiral, your meeting. You've got your attendees.
Good. What's next?
You're the admiral.
I mean,
Captain.
what? How are we going about like delivering, getting Edgar to where it needs to be? Yada yada.
We could do a flyby.
Like Alice
Proper one.
chuckles at that.
Fly.
What was that, Nico?
The most stealthy approach.
He can be a smoke monster.
True. Very true.
Were we paid for stealth?
No. But I mean, I would rather MO doesn't know we delivered them if I mean it doesn't work, which is kind of likely. She's been blown up how many times now? How many? Just one.
She goes to like object momentarily and then doesn't say anything.
But yeah, would be nice.
Okay. Then I suggest we either drop him and should gestures towards Weird, or someone shuttles him down.
I have contacted her, so I am intending to arrive at some point, but I'm very much in agreement that ideally we want to distance ourselves from him in case things don't go as he hopes.
I think Alice looks at you and says, so that means you don't want to shuttle him down?
Probably not, since that's sort of what I was intending to do. I'm open to ideas, but
I think Alice just looks back at Weird and just gives you like a kind of thumbs up.
What if we get CC's jumpsuit?
to what end?
Edgar could jump in. They wouldn't see that coming.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't see us coming because we probably wouldn't get there.
Makes a good smile at that.
If you think
it needs a little refinement.
if you think you can do the refinements and in a reasonable time frame, then sure, Edgar can try.
Do we want Edgar to have a personal jump drive?
Good point. Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced we do want that.
Because then he could get anyone's yogurt.
I mean, I don't want to be the second person to try that fucking thing.
Could we just do multiple shuttle runs?
I mean, I'm a captain, so probably don't want me in it, right? Probably in a fit anyway.
I think Alice just looks up and down as if for the first time and just like slowly shakes her head subconsciously. And then she says, Zig, no, the shuttle run thing is because if Edgar walks out of our shuttle, that's kind of that would be bad.
We could give the shuttle a paint job.
I like this plan. Personally, I like holographic orange.
Discreet. I like it.
Yes.
Just because I like orange myself, but that's no.
Is she part of the head link? I can't remember.
What, Alice?
Uh-huh.
She's the first officer.
No, but is she telepathically linked in?
I think she is looped in, right? In fact, it was Zig's really
Okay,
ultimate choice here, right?
I was
Zig,
going to think something, and now I'm not.
I think she is looped in, because I think you looped in Everyday and Alice, and the only person you didn't loop in was Thanida when you had the opportunity. Yeah. Because I think even, what's his face?
I'm actually going to take a note of it on my skeletal column for who's actually...
Yeah. Well, if you want, what I can do is, I'll give you a handout. There we go. How about that? I'll just make your... and we can call it. And that's the way MD can have a look at it at a glance. So, what's the ability called again?
Brain telepathetic.
Parasitized mind.
What is it called?
Okay.
Telepathic bond. It seems slightly more.
I've just wrote Zig's mind comms. There you go. There is a handout that everybody should like to see now in the journal tab. Feel free to go update that with the list of who's currently in it for me, Zig. But all of you can see and edit it, so if we need to alter it, we can on the go.
Zig's link comms.
Close enough.
Rude. Very rude.
It's because it was mind link comms originally. I deleted bits in between, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll let you update that. But yeah, so we've got obviously Zig will always be in that link, I believe. In fact, no, you can you make
I
it
can
without you?
choose to not be.
Yeah. Okay. I'll add your name into them. But yeah, I'm sure it was the core crew and Alice and
Yeah, I think so.
Sindel, right?
Well, Sindel kind of let him. Did we do it thingy, or did he just kind of,
No, I'm sure he's
just give him permission to listen in?
No, I'm sure he's added them in.
Sure.
I mean, feel free if somebody believes otherwise, continuity-wise, but I'm pretty sure Sindel is still part of this link. 'Cause I'm sure it was remade when he was still with you guys. Because we did have a chat about are we going to include Thanida or not, or would it be annoying to Thanida or not? So yeah, I'm sure Alice and Cindy are both in it.
That's. I thought he wasn't, but I may well be mistaken, of course.
I am also willing to be wrong here, but I don't
I
remember
think
enough.
it was on it. I don't know if we'd redone it since then.
Hey, if you want to have said that he's not, I don't mind if you want to just chuck him, right? It's not like you couldn't just recast it now with everybody in the room anyway, so doesn't bug me if you just want to say he's not part of it. But I'm sure Alice was.
It's been a very handy link. I mean,
Yeah, well, make a judgment call now, folks, with the Sindel part, because are we keeping them or are we chucking them? For the sake of the timeline.
I'm for keeping them if you want to.
I'll keep.
You know what? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Pretty much knows all our deepest, darkest secrets at this point anyway, so who gives a fuck?
Yeah. He really has anything to add to the link anyway, so. Rightio. So we've got that done. Right, so in the absence of that, does Lyko remember that Alice is part of the link?
I think he would. I think that was very much Colin forgetting, not
Okay,
Lyko.
that's fine. It was just my question, because obviously sometimes it can be horribly bad timing if people forget this stuff as their characters.
I think he just raises an eyebrow or her holographic orange. But yeah, that's he doesn't directly say anything about it, although he definitely thinks that's an interesting bit of phrasing.
Yeah. So, what's the plan if we're not painting the shell?
I thought it was a great plan.
She just like nods. It's like just clearly agreeing still. She kind of looks over at like Zora and you, because I assume you're standing near each other. That's you, Lyko, and she just kind of like, so how do we get Edgar off the ship sneakily?
I look at Weird. You might be too small to be easily traced.
You want me to fall from the atmosphere?
Can you do that?
Everyone can.
Can you survive? Can you do that intact?
There's the challenge.
Atmospheric re-entry will be an interesting rules check.
I mean, I guess I'm assuming he probably can, but I don't know that.
I'm willing to look into it.
Okay.
It should be fine.
What about an escape pod?
We might want
Escape
those.
pod. We've got those, right? We've got those.
Problem is, it would also say escape pod of final hour Vesk ship, and also have a transponder that sent out a signal.
We could fix that.
You're right, holographic orange to ship.
We can fix that.
Change
We
the...
can-
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but then that leaves a evidence of absence. If someone were to come on board the ship, someone Vesk say they might think to check these sort of things.
Bit weird that Vesk ships have escape pods.
Probably called boarding pods in Vesk.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's probably a
drop,
drill strap to the
drop
front.
pods.
Yeah.
They're like Space Marine drop pods.
Yeah. It's for those that can't wait for the shuttles to reach the planet side. They just have to like jump down early. Oh dear. I think Alice
Wait,
then
fuck
goes.
off.
Alice looks at Weird and goes, "If you and Edgar went in the shuttle, and then Lyko took the shuttle down to the surface, if you bailed before he landed,"
But in atmosphere.
she nods, "that would reduce the risk to at least you. I'm not sure if it would matter to him, but he doesn't fly around space that much, it seems, since he asked us to bring him here. That
Sure.
might just be a speed thing."
Yeah, I can
It
put
might-
in my null space chamber.
She nods. "Couldn't we just put him in that anyway and fire it?"
You could put him in one of the spare ones and just throw it out.
It might break in the atmosphere though.
I mean, could take it down in the shuttle.
Everybody just looks at you. It's like, the most sensible option.
That is,
And then
I
just
mean,
leave him in a non-conspicuous place to emerge.
Here you go, Lyko.
how large is your no space chamber? Excuse me.
You'd be taking one of the other ones, which I think is 5x5.
That's enough for him to literally like squeeze himself into. Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant how large is the actual thing itself on the
Oh,
outside?
it's just like a wrist mounted.
Then it's incredibly discreet.
Yeah, like essentially, think
Lyko happily takes it.
think a puzzle box or like call it a Pokeball. I mean, Hellraiser puzzle box.
Or a TARDIS.
Too big.
I mean, how big is a Pokeball? They can hold some pretty fucking big things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I will happily take that from him and give him a nod and sort of put it on and say, okay. If he agrees to that, then we are pretty much on track. I just need to find somewhere on the ground to let him out discreetly.
Alice says we could maybe rig it so that it would like evacuate contents automatically after a certain time. If you just wanted to literally leave it somewhere and walk away.
I like that idea. That reduces the chance of me being seen near him. So,
And we could still strap
Can
it
we
to
do that?
something and launch it if needed. She just nods.
I'm sort of looking between her and Weird, and I sort of ask, can we do that?
I think Alice just looks to Weird and just slowly nods and waits for some response from him.
Rig it up in that way. I like that idea.
As soon as possible, yes.
It's possible it's not the worst answer. Okay. I hand it back to him and say, I haven't had a response yet, so we've got a bit of time.
Alice then goes, "Response?" As if catching herself up.
Sorry, I contacted her.
Her?
Emma O.
Oh. Right. Why?
She wanted debriefed after the whole gate on Akaton incident.
Okay.
Or at least that's the pretext.
Captain.
I assume it's at least partly true.
She turns to Zora.
Oh, was muted, yes.
Yeah. Where do we stand on MO? Besides her neck. Haha.
I mean, I couldn't care less about her personally, but if Edgar succeeds, I won't really be crying in my sleep.
Right. Okay. Where is the meeting taking place, Lyko? Do you know?
I'm assuming in her office.
You don't have any objections to wearing some kind of tracking device, do you?
I squint at her slightly.
And she looks at the captain with like a kind of... Yeah, like Zora, you see like a bit more of a severe look in her eyes than you normally see. She gives you that look, and then she says, "So, hear me out. We could give Lyko 2 null space chambers. One to drop off Edgar, and one to recall Lyko. Right?" And she just nods to Zora. And if I can get that tracker laser targeter that I made you back, I could rig it so that Lyko would be the laser targeter. And, you know, there's a big gun in the front of this ship. Just stares at you, Zora.
I've always wanted to fire that gun, but
Is this a better way to bring me back than the shuttle that I'll be going down on?
I will even need to come back if we blow you up, right?
Alice goes to laugh and then turns to Lyko and her serious face comes back and she says, "No, we'd need to design a rapid recovery, otherwise you'll be incinerated." If it... Yeah.
How large are we expecting this explosion to be?
Ours or Edgar's?
Let's start at the beginning then. I'm not intending to be present for Edgar's little scheme.
Right. We don't know his plan, ultimately. And we don't know if he'll ever actually tell us the truth about his plan.
Sure.
He seems nice on the surface. And then she just kind of like leaves that hanging there, and then she like shakes her head a little bit, and then she says, "But MO is a problem for us, regardless of Edgar. And the fact that we have shuttled Edgar this far isn't great in regards to MO being a problem for us additionally. We are actively trying to keep Query away from her. So what is our endgame regarding MO, Captain? Because this looks like an opportunity. A very good one, because I don't imagine the dragons would be happy if we just fire at their planet. However, they are not exactly going to shoot back given how many Vesk spaceships are in orbit. It's literally a very small window of opportunity.
I mean, you're not wrong, but is it even likely to work? You dropped a building on her before.
A diner is barely a building.
This bomb
I mean,
that
a
Edgar's
diner
constructed
isn't
was apparently...
big cannon.
Yeah.
Gun.
Yeah.
I guess.
But that was preceded by a big cannon. Like,
And like Alice like lights up a little bit, and she's like, as much as I'd like to think, and then she just like summons her big like again holographic like technomancer bazooka, and then like thumps it onto the big holo table. She goes, as much as I'd like to think this has the same power as the main gun on this ship, it doesn't. Sadly.
you're right, and I have always wanted to shoot that gun.
She picks up her bazooka and hands it to you. This gun?
No, I mean, that, in fact, actually, that does look like a fun gun. But no, the ship's gun.
And she goes, right, yeah, the ship's gun. And she dismisses her bazooka. And then goes, so, can you see my thinking, Lyko? We have an opportunity to remove probably a lot of future problems while putting a lot of political pressure on the Vesk. Because
I'm not convinced that the weaponry on this ship will be any more effective than what Edgar has in store for her, which apparently is in some way specific to the task of taking her out. The only reason I would think it might be more successful is that there's always the risk with Edgar's plan that he will be intercepted and won't actually be able to get near her. However, what happens when we, let's say, shoot this at the building? We know her office isn't actually likely to be physically in the building.
so, if she doesn't say where you have to meet her, you could pick a place and just put it down to your... And she does air quotes for you. And she kind of like does a Lyko impression. She goes, my suspicious cop mind. And then you could make her meet you somewhere like less buildingy, like a park.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she has nothing to hide and wants you to, basically, she needs you, right? She needs you.
Hold on. You're suggesting that I meet her in a public location, which we then blow up from orbit.
Yes.
I have objections.
I'm not saying we
I'm
blow up,
concerned about collateral damage.
which is why you have to speak to her quietly, isolated, but public. Public as in not in a strange arms dealer's bunker public, you know? Not in the middle of a train station public. And she kind of looks at everybody like this made a lot more sense in her head.
Oh, somebody's mind got blown.
Yep. Welcome back, buddy.
Sorry, yeah, that happens again. This until I get a new headset, which won't be until
Don't worry
at
about
least
it.
a week's
Just stay in the
time,
scene.
because
Stick with it.
This is gonna be a thing. Yeah, so she had said, which is why you need to talk to her.
Yeah, so what she was
What?
saying, yeah, and you talk to her alone, like just publicly, not in her secret arms dealer's bunker publicly, not publicly, train station publicly.
What is the area of effect of that front-mounted weapon?
She blinks. What level of effect do you want to hear?
At what level is it likely to inflict lasting injury? What kind of area would I need to clear?
Not that far. It is, and she sits and she thinks, she goes, I'd say you'd want a radius of at least 100 meters from impact site, just to be safe. However, well, you've said she's been made of crystal in the past.
Hmm.
We don't know what she's made of, other than it looks like crystal.
Well, it looks like crystal. It is crystal, right? It's a structural question. You're thinking about using an alternative weapon.
No, I'm thinking metaphysics and how particles interact with waveforms, and our cannon might refract through her. Which means the effective range might go up to 5 to 600 meters.
Frankly, I think even 100 meters in a well-populated area is a big ask.
But that's your job, to make sure it's not a well-populated area. Just not covered by a bunker. Not all parks are busy, Lyko. Chainlink takes like a deep breath and goes, it's just a thought, because there's a lot of overlapping opportunities right now. I'm not saying we should do this, I'm saying if we were going to, now would be a good time to try. Given that we are actively hindering her goals.
I agree, but I am not convinced that we can do this without at least the potential of collateral damage. And nope.
Yep, we're all still here, yeah.
I wasn't sure. Sorry, I thought I heard you speaking and then I didn't.
No, I was literally just going. Yeah, I think Alice is pretty much like unable to combat that particular point because it's not. She's weighing up the how much does she value collateral damage versus removing her from the board.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think actually Lyko, if Lyko would perceive that, is that just something for Colin, or is that something Lyko would perceive?
No, I think that would be like maybe look. You can definitely see she's having deep thoughts.
I think he would then perhaps try a different approach. So what? Let's assume we do this and this works. What we now have is a situation where we have attacked a prominent person, a diplomat, a business leader, potentially, with any luck, killed them. And we've done that in a manner that could be mistaken for a Vesk military strike. Yeah, that probably makes things complicated for the Vesk. I'm not convinced that that really does a great deal to help us, though. Do we want to be caught in the middle of that if it erupts? Or, even if it doesn't, do we really want the Mogesh inquiring as to why we decided to draw these people into this conflict needlessly, for instance?
I think Alice looks to Zora. And then MO is on Traxxas. Traxxas is not her homeworld as far as we know. It seems to be her office, which is interesting. Politically, I mean, the dragons. But the dragons are trying to build the new station because they want to be more involved in the solar system, the Pact World system, so that we get back to some kind of operational standard. However, arms dealers aren't exactly good PR. So it doesn't, long term, I mean, MO8 isn't going to be welcome on Triaxis if Triaxis does go the way of the civil servant. We would be doing them a favour ultimately.
Maybe, but what also probably doesn't help their image.
Also, we could ask permission. No, she does cut you off. She literally jumps in to cut you off because she doesn't like the idea of like losing the argument. And she goes, "We could just
ask for permission.
We know a dragon.
If it is denied,
then we don't do
also,
it. If it's denied, we don't do it because then that's too many enemies. That's all of Triaxis specifically painting a target on us. And
even asking could potentially cause problems.
Could definitely implicate us to even Edgar.
It would. It's information that would almost certainly get back to her, and it's also it's bound to look suspicious. I don't see it. I don't see how we can.
Alice just kind of like nods quietly. As I said, just an opportunity I noticed come up. I am unsure how to protect this crew going forward against a focused MO if we fall within her crosshairs.
Sure.
Unless you want to ask your friend for help.
Which friend are you thinking of?
She gave you like a funny look as if, hey, there's more than one. And she goes, Sindale?
I thought that's who you meant.
She gave you a funny look and goes, well, like, I'm right here. It couldn't have been me you were talking about.
You know, I do know other people. No, never mind.
She finger guns you across the meeting room.
We might be able to do that if we need to. We might be able to, but I'm going to suggest, if we're smart about it, we can avoid being too easily tied to events with Edgar. And
there's another path we can walk. There's another option. I didn't want to. And she kind of like hesitates a bit and she goes,
you mentioned it now.
Yeah, there's one plan, that was it. It was blowing her up, and then there's a second plan. If we put Edgar in the null space chamber, we could just deliver him to her. If we want her as an ally. And the price could be to leave Query alone. She like clears her throat loudly, and she looks at everybody like she clearly doesn't like that plan. She likes the idea of pushing the button that makes the ship fire.
I would rather just hand Query over here and get into it.
And then, like, Alice kind of like chuckles to that, but it's really empty, right? The chuckle to that.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah. What do we do?
I like the original idea of just delivering him to the world. I have my meeting. I come out nice and peaceful. Nothing goes down. Edgar then finds his opportunity. Obviously, there's plenty of opportunity for that to go wrong.
I was thinking this was a
there
very
would be
optimistic plan, Lyko.
I see it as a very simple, doable plan, but one which most definitely could fail. I understand. Oh Christ, my mug fell. I understand the appeal of the direct approach.
Just Miles briefly.
I just
It would be the name of our spaceship if she had one. The direct approach.
I can't get behind it for several reasons that we've discussed.
She nods and goes, there are valid concerns to the plan. I haven't thought it through completely, but it was just a bunch of opportunities and situations and scenarios that had lined up to make us have a shot at her. And I do not have the information to forecast what we're going to go up against in a future scenario with MO. And if we can stop that, yay! But if Edgar fails and she learns we delivered him here, we may as well have shot her.
If Edgar fails, how quickly do you think we could find out?
She looks at Weird and then says, we don't know what his bomb does, so we don't know what interference it might create or blast radius. But if we could work out something, we could easily just rig him with surveillance. Is his plan to walk away from this?
We should probably ask him that.
I mean, come on. It's Edgar. He intends to live. This isn't a suicide mission in his part.
She kind of like, she nods like slowly to that, like, it's kind of, oh, hello Ruby.
Oh, doggy.
Like, she like nods slowly and does say, she like, he does like himself a lot, I did notice.
If we could intercept communications, for instance, maybe we could respond if we have reason to believe that the attack has failed.
I think the only way to do that then would be you wait to hear back from your meeting, and then you send Edgar ahead of the meeting time, and you wait at your meeting spot, and if she doesn't make it, it worked. And that's the least direct way we could monitor that. The more direct way is rig Edgar.
It's smart.
But arguably, if she only gets half blown up and she wants a burger, she might be late to your meeting. You'd think she'd call first. So, yeah, I guess it is a smart idea.
It's if it doesn't work, she's gonna piece that together very quickly. If it doesn't work, she's gonna piece it together very quickly either way, to be honest with you. So maybe I should go for that.
These are just ideas I've had. I'm not, if I have anything else better before we execute this, we'll
I'm seeing downsides to everything. Captain, ultimately, it's your call.
I mean,
Alice looks at it and goes, "We get to fire the persistent particle beam."
it's so tempting. That is so tempting. How traceable is a laser beam from space?
You could say we're drawing a line straight to our ship.
What if we fire then move? It takes a while for that beam to get there, right?
It travels at the speed of light, Captain.
Yeah, and if we fire then move, the radius would increase because we'd be cutting.
I mean, make sure it doesn't get away, right?
If you get a massive enough object, we could curve it.
It's taught about dropping it. No, let's not do that.
I think Alice is lost in the Pact Worlds universe model in her brain she's just put up. Trying to work out how many planets would it take to curve that.
Yeah, if we had a small black hole and with the right distance from it, we could curve it round.
Alice gives you like a funny look. Weird when you're saying this. And then doesn't say anything, just looks back at the captain and then says, the funny look is like intrigue though, right? It's an intrigue look. Like the type of thing where you've mentioned something and she just clearly had an idea. She turns back to Zara and says, realistically, shooting an MO from space is the most direct approach I could possibly think of. Yes, I agree, it comes with downsides, but also she might blow up and die and then we don't have to deal with whatever she does to us in the future. And I assume Aspas's power vacuum will be enough to keep them busy until they forget about us entirely, since we have had no fallout not working for them for a while. So that seems fine.
Surely there won't be a power vacuum if it works.
Aspas has thousands of employees.
I suspect that
Alice brings up like from our like comm device, like a file that she brings up and she reads through it very quickly and she goes, Meng Po would be the next in line to take control of Aspas.
on paper, yes.
Yeah. And assuming Meng Po isn't a rainbow shadow monster or a crystal nightmare, then she like dismisses the data sheet. She goes, if they're just a person, they'll have a lot of work to do making sure Aspas doesn't fall apart. They're losing its CEO.
For number 3 is a rainbow shadow monster, number 1 is a crazy crystal glass woman. What's number 2?
She kind of like shrugs. She goes, head of personnel?
A dragon or something, maybe? Like,
And
I mean,
Alice brings up and she goes, no, she was head of personnel. She points at the file.
We have no reason to think he isn't just a man.
I mean, Edgar.
Not sure.
I mean, both of them just look like, well, other than Emma, she's got pointy feet, but I mean, Edgar just looks like a man, but he's not a man, is he? He's not a guy.
I'm not sure, I'm not a man. It's called that. Oh dear.
Yeah. Just because others aren't human or humanoid, or well, they are humanoid. I mean, in shape. Although Edgar is not actually, he simply appears to be. I'm getting away from my point.
And she goes, it doesn't have a picture of Meng Po, but it does list gender as female.
It would suggest this Meng Po could be something other than a sort of mere flesh and blood mortal like we are, but it also could be the Mingpo is just some person. I mean, they might be some terrifying horror from beyond time, but I don't think we have any reason to assume that.
Alice like exhales slowly, as if just trying to relax, and then she says, "That's kind of like a 3 steps away from the current problem, though, right? Because we will have an MO problem. That's not
agreed.
There is not that happening. So we need to solve that. And right now it's not that big a problem for us currently. But it will be." And she kind of looks at everybody in the room. She goes, "We do need to solve that. I don't know when you want to solve it, but I think the longer we leave it, that gets tougher. The more prep time she has, Aspis are as far connected as, well, beyond the Viscarium space, in fact. So, yeah."
I think we ended today. I think we ended through the ancient means of bomb.
Alice nods. "So we're trusting Edgar." She smiles.
We're trusting Edgar to do what Edgar wants to do.
I think that's what Edgar does
I
best.
trust him that far. Sorry.
And she just nods to Zig when he says, that. And then goes, "Okay. And if it fails, we shoot her with the persistent particle beam."
If it fails, you can unload the entire arsenal on her if you really want to. I'm not sure it's a good idea, but if you're going to shoot her, you might as well really go for it.
We do have forward nav coil guns, we've got a persistent particle beam, we've got light plasma cannons.
We have missiles.
We don't have missiles, but we do
We'll
have
rectify that.
We do have the ability to make Weird hold anything and throw it from space.
I can always launch some things if I need to.
Which would probably be pretty devastating, right? See your telekinetic projectile move, but from orbit. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably pretty
I've
violent.
also got, oh man, there's a lot of text.
We have a
here.
freestanding warp drive.
Yeah, the drift engine.
Drift drive.
Yeah.
We have a freestanding drift drive.
Yes.
I mean, if Edgar doesn't succeed in his plan, we have already.
Oh, a drift bomb.
I was going to say we've already been halfway there. I wasn't personally involved in that, but you did drift into a city before.
Yes.
Oh, no, not a drift bomb. Crusher with a ship.
No, I was going to suggest what would happen if you drifted an object into her location.
Like another planet.
That would probably be bigger than 100-meter radius collateral.
I was thinking something more reasonably sized, something which, if it appeared, say, in the same room as her, would obliterate that room, but
Zig, no,
maybe
kidding.
nothing else.
Another bomb.
I mean, another bomb, yeah, or even just a large cube.
She looks
I mean,
at
I have
Ivan.
to assume if something suddenly materializes in a space you're occupying. Am I wrong? If you're occupying a space and then suddenly something else is instantaneously also occupying that space,
Alice just nods in like a kind of a grave way, like, yep, very grim.
So, if we were to, for instance, drift drive, I don't know, what do we have that's large?
The shuttle?
A shuttle? with a bomb, just in case,
Edgar's ego.
into a room that we had reason to believe she was in.
We'd need a targeting system, though. Is this preemptive or a backup plan?
Let's say this is a C plan.
Okay.
How did she survive the last time I was killing her?
Well, firstly, I resent that. And secondly,
Sorry, how did we survive the last time Alice killing her? I don't mean to claim your credit.
she looks at it and she goes, First of the officers. And then taps her chest and she says, slanderous accusations aside, though, how did she survive? And she looks at Lyko accusingly.
If I had to guess, magic?
She looks
I
at
shrugged
Zig
slightly.
accusingly.
Yeah, that's what I do as well. Not accusingly, though, just pleadingly, almost.
Like even Ivan pivots slightly and wobbles a little bit in your direction, Zig, at that moment.
Well, I'm sure I can aim things ish.
Yeah, I don't think Zig knows how she survived either.
Sorry, I heard that part, but I was reading at the same time. Yeah. I don't know. I think she is a regenerative turd.
Okay.
Or there's
She survived getting her head ripped off by Query in the past also.
It strikes me that there's no point us making a plan to eliminate one physical form if we cannot be sure that it will take.
I think she's a network.
It's possible. These might actually be avatars that we're encountering.
Just
And where's this central form?
It's got to be our office, right?
what if it is the off? No, it's dumb.
You say that?
What if the office is one manifestation of her entire entity?
Ooh, like Alice kind of gets quite intrigued by that.
Well, we probably ought to hope that Edgar succeeds in blowing up our office then.
Can we clarify this with Edgar first?
Also, wouldn't that include collateral damage? Do we hate the Aspis employees as well?
I don't think our office is actually physically in the building.
Then why don't we work out where that is and destroy that?
Haven't you been there, Captain?
Yeah. It's not exactly the most. It was very open. It wasn't in a building, was it? No.
Can't Zig take that from you and give it to us? She looks at Zig.
Oh, the brain thing.
Can I take? That's a question.
You definitely know somebody that can.
I do know someone that can.
And they have a name now. Remember?
Oh yeah, what was their name? You sent it
Zvudge.
to the thing, didn't you?
Child.
Child. Nat Gigi. And
Yeah.
their name is the Silence of Thought.
I think Zig would probably just refer to them as the Silence of because that would have just stuck in his head.
So Begone saw it.
No, in the bin.
That wasn't my fault. That was
Along with the bathwater you bought. So
You bought bathwater.
Wow.
So,
I hate baths. How dare you?
The silence of
banning me from
thoughts
buying
came
blood
up
water
in
the other day.
conversation. Oh god. Why?
It was part of a Kickstarter. It was Edmund McMillan,
Right, okay.
Binding of Isaac.
Right, yeah.
He was selling his
Okay.
blood water as part of a Kickstarter reward.
Nice.
But it was like $2,000 tier.
Ah. So you were banned.
Yes.
That's fair.
Hmm.
Just saying, if it was us that had got married, Alex, I wouldn't have banned you from that.
I know.
I'd have divorced you over it, but I wouldn't have banned you from it.
You'd let me make my
Yeah,
mistakes.
you're 100% allowed to make your mistake. Oh dear. But yeah, that's his name, Zvudge. Zvudge Jognat Gege. The silence of thought. You just thought Matt Varalin Ellis was an awkward name.
Zvudge.
I like it, it's a really fun sounding name, Zvudge.
So yeah, I
Okay.
suppose they would say, well, I can't personally extract, but the silence of thought. The Mogesh's science mystical team can.
Does that mean we have to go back?
You're still kind of inside the ship, right?
Does that mean we have to go outside?
Could we?
Because I'm not
just
sure I'm allowed
request
outside.
them also, just to come visit us?
Are there any more scientists we want to steal while we're here?
Could we just take all of them? No, oh, no, that would be awful.
I mean, right. Maya, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did we not know something to do with the office not being in the same physical location as that building?
In the sense that the office building you're talking about was on Absalom Station that blew up.
And it took us to another location, but that...
So it was the captain and I was going to say Olka, but I mean Emlyn. So Zora and Emlyn were in the elevator, and they went up to the top floor, and they stepped out into like an open, fairly massive open clearing to a forest at a big waterfall behind, obviously, a desk that was in the mid, just on the ground. And then they had obviously MO there. So it just seemed to be like a doorway that opened up from the elevator to there. So it seemed like the elevator itself was like the transportation device, since there was no like structures when Zora and Emlyn were there. It was just the door appearing again for them to leave. And Emlyn actually stopped off at the second from the top floor, which was personnel. With Mengpo.
So, yeah, I'm very much assuming it's not in a building.
Which does kind of fix your particle cannon issue for Alice, at least.
Yeah, but I'm not entirely convinced it's just like a field somewhere in Triaxis. It may be a pocket dimension.
Could be. I definitely know she's got a bit of mystical power given what she was able to do with Emlyn, because remember she explored Emlyn's mind with her. Yeah, she was very interested in the goings-on within the mind of Emlyn. Especially when Emlyn was like, yeah, Edgar did this to me, and she was like, did he know? And then you have since found out that Edgar was like, no, I had nothing to do with that, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, yeah, her office is definitely in a weird space, not necessarily a field. That definitely seems like a fair enough thing to say, but a lot of that would involve the articulation of the captain, stating all that, obviously, which I don't think there's an issue with, because that's probably the first thing to say was her office was a fucking field. Also, fiends everywhere.
What I was saying. It was basically outside in a field, trees everywhere. There wasn't a building. It was just,
Yep.
Very nice office. Wasn't even sure I was really outside at the point in time, but yeah.
What if we all went?
I don't know if that's something that. I mean, not that we might really care that she agrees or not, but she might not agree on it.
What's the benefit of us all going?
I don't know. I said that and hoped that the answer would follow, and it didn't.
Hmm,
But
sure.
we'd know where it is because we'd be there. Then Zig could do something. She give you like a thumbs up, encouragingly.
I think Zig kind of awkwardly smiles.
Mm.
You can put a tracker on me when I go in if you like, and that would give us an indication of where the office actually physically is.
And she shouldn't really complain if she wants you to trust her, right? In theory.
Also, I think that she probably knows enough about me to expect that I would
Yeah.
probably have some sort of tracking.
Do you want a recall device? Because that'll
I
take
hope
work.
not to have to use it, but
Mm.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Yeah, we'd like to have you
Hmm.
back.
Mm. Well, I'll need the drift drive from the jumpsuit. Or I'll need someone to buy a missile. And I'll need Weird.
Captain, can you take a missile from the desk?
As soon as I say that, Alice goes, 2, if we can.
I could definitely commission to yeah.
As many as you can get, really.
2 is a suspiciously small number. I'm agreeing with Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 18.
Okay, a crate of missiles. You want
Yep.
a container of missiles?
Yes.
Okay.
I love how the crew just went immediately to like, can we just get a bunch of missiles from the desk, please?
I mean, I'm not against the idea. I
Right.
like missiles, so I mean,
You gotta
ship
call them
missiles.
rockets, because if you call them missiles, that actually encourages the gods of dice rolls to make them miss.
True.
That's an actual tabletop suspicion. It is superstition. If you ever played any war games, you might encounter it
That's quite funny
Okay.
because magic missile
I
hits.
was going to say,
Yeah,
never
automatically. Yeah.
never
that's
missed.
good. It's good.
No, that was an actual thing that I heard from people back when I used to pop into Games Workshop store and play when I was a teenager. They'd be like, no, you don't call a missile launcher.
Mhm.
Tempting fate.
That's amazing.
People are weird.
Yeah, they are.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
People are very fucking.
Especially me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely good.
Yep.
Hey, must be the money.
So I looked at the Merciless Blade's weapon loadout, and it doesn't so much use missiles as what's called a heavy laser net, which hits 5 hexes worth of space in a space combat. That's
Can't agree
disgusting.
that space lizards don't use missiles. I feel like
only the Merciless Blade's what I've looked at there for its loadout. Not to say
I'm
all
good
Vest
for-
ships are this way. Oh, yep. So the Mogash's personal ship, the Conqueror of Worlds,
Covered in
Missiles.
missiles.
it has an antimatter mega missile launcher.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about, man.
Yes.
It hits 20 hexes. I don't know if that's range away, I assume, but that's
It's the business.
Hot.
yeah. Just as a point of order here, Nico, not even Zora, you should not give Alice one of those.
Okay, right.
Or Weird, in fact. So, yeah.
Hey.
Cool.
What do you think they would do with a fucking antimatter mega missile? Like,
Bomb.
Something very
Antimatter
reckless,
bomb.
probably. Probably something very reckless.
in fact, Weird, roll 4d10 times 10 for me.
4d10. 18. So 180.
Yay! That's the damage from one missile in 20 hexes. I do think that's area.
Okay,
So-
okay, can we commission one of them to kill Mo? She's definitely no dodging that.
I feel like antimatter would maybe fuck her up, yeah. Like, mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't, she deserves to live. Like,
Right? Yeah. It's like, I guess you're our new queen. All hail Queen MO.
yeah,
I mean,
I'm into it.
I
We'll
think
just throw her at the Librian.
I think, right, so bear with me, because I do have an idea for an absolute ultimate last ditch weapon.
Right?
Right? The personal drift drive,
Hmm.
but you then attach. No, you don't attach. You set a timer so that it's only got a limited runtime in terms of its navigation and its ability to actually activate, so that once it reaches its initial destination, it can no longer operate.
Well, that all got muted by some weird audio glitch. So do you want to hit that last
Oh my god.
punchline again for us? So it can what?
Yeah, so it can no longer be operated in any way. So that as soon as it's arrived at its destination, there is nothing that can be done with it without reverse
So,
engineering
I'm going to
what
let you
we
know that
fucked up.
it's going to take a lot of effort to get it to do at least one jump anyway. So
Mhm.
I think it's 50-50 whether you need to rig it to stop working or if it'll just stop working on its own.
You've
So,
got to make
yeah.
sure, right? This
Yep,
is
definitely.
this is the second tap, the double tap,
Yep,
right? The
yep.
second bullet is to make sure. This is making sure,
But yeah, so like to summarize, like Alice's
or attach a bomb to it.
yeah, like so Alice's ultimate plan there for you, like the recall device is essentially using like the jump drive to pull you back because you don't have
Mhm.
personal teleporters yet, and
No,
I
yeah.
don't think Alice has
'Cause
been
this isn't
leveled
Star
up
Trek.
enough to know if she's actually got the teleport spell yet. I have no idea if she should be able to do that yet because I know Technomancers can teleport, so she might eventually be able to function in that role, which is nice. So yeah, having that mentality, her plan was either to have the recall device be a null space chamber attached to a missile to get the null space chamber into orbit for the ship to collect. Right?
Yeah, which is mildly insane, but
It's
you know.
well, it's less insane than trusting the jump drive engine that was jury-rigged to operate for a single person, which is insane.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was
But
her
I
two
know
options.
that you can find someone who gets lost with it.
Well, you were able to by building a giant drift bomb. You just don't have the parts to build a second drift bomb yet.
Okay,
So
I see a problem with this.
yeah, like you getting lost in drift space and then them having to blow up a piece of drift space to get a radar ping from you. Right? There's a lot of dice rolls. You have done it though, but it is a lot of dice rolls, and you don't have Edgar this time to make sure the ship's reinforced. You could still like try and repeat everything he did, but it is you trying to repeat stuff he knew. So that is a trickier thing to do a second time, but it's still possible, totally. But both are bad options, really, because that's why they're emergency bailout plans. But yeah, that is ultimately her plan with the missile, just so you know. She's not exactly going to withhold that information.
As long as I can be discreet about it until it's the time, you know.
I love
I'm
that
fine.
you go for the meeting with the missile slung over your back like it's, a career tube, because you'll probably have to, with the null space chamber glued to the top of it.
See, that's less discreet than I'd like.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose if you wanted, you could have a null space chamber on your belt, store the missile on your belt, but then you just need to make sure you have fixed the null space chamber to it and jumped in. Yeah, that seems that's reasonable, right? There's ways to do this. We're in the cool sci-fi future. But yeah, ultimately that's Alice's thought process. I think we're just waiting to see if the captain's going to approve Operation Let's Go Get a Crate of Missiles.
I mean, I can give Demagesh a call, I suppose. I mean, shouldn't it be a problem? Probably.
Is he the quartermaster or the armsman or?
I mean, I guess I could probably just go back on board and ask for a
Yeah, I don't think you need to get authorization for some weapons. I mean, I have to imagine have more than enough authority for that.
I'm just still getting used to that. Right. Yeah.
Do you think they'd give us a bigger gun for the ship?
Probably.
Mm.
Probably would give us a bigger ship,
Mm.
but
I like your thinking. We could drift jump this ship into MO and then fly away on our bigger ship.
I like this ship.
Okay, we could drift jump the bigger ship into MO and fly away on this ship.
I would
Better idea.
let's hold off on the missiles thing actually, because I'm not convinced I can walk around with a missile without causing some sort of concerns.
I mean, we're going to cause concern. Whatever we do, we're going to cause concern.
I don't think it's quite the same.
Plotting corporate assassination.
You can hide the missile on you. The missile can be in the null space chamber.
But then I need to take it out.
You're going to need to take it out if you wanted to launch it, yeah.
Okay. Although it's possible they'll ask me to produce the contents of the null space chamber.
Probably. I would probably hope I would think of that.
I say I don't do it. I'm not going to. We're going to trust my ability to extricate myself from these circumstances.
She turns to weird.
Right?
Did you get any further on your linking null space chambers research?
That's good.
I have made progress, haven't I, Ryan?
I think so, yeah. I think the thing you were missing was mystic input, I think I said.
Yes.
Yes. And you now literally have an additional mystic and also a team of Vesk mystics upstairs.
Yes. I need to contact the mystic team, but I have a working theory.
Xalas goes,
Okay.
okay, I have several new plans. Your null space chamber could just be full of something mundane and useful, like, I don't know, pizza or a bottle of water.
Yogurt.
No, they're mine. But you, arguably, if we can get, you know, some of the people with the magics working on the null space link thing, we might be able to dial into your device. If it works. Which means yours would be empty. And then we could change where it opens.
Or, here's a thought. Would it be possible to simply step into the chamber and step out of a different one?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. You could have easily, like, I don't know if I would call it an exact science, and you would have limited air.
I'm not sure if I would call it science at this stage, but yes.
She nods.
Yeah, sorry, I thought
Fair.
you were suggesting hiding the escape device inside a different one. But no, okay, we're on the same page.
No, it would function as an escape device, but I just don't know how safe that is. Hiding in one untampered null space chamber and volleying it into orbit is still safer unless we lose track of it. But that's the only concern, unless the null space chamber fails and you get vented into space. But that's the only concern.
That's
or
also
something breaks and you get trapped in the null space chamber forever.
But we could still
I'm
try and
sticking with
dial
the
in.
plan of trusting my own ability to get out of the situation.
Bold
You
choice.
should always have a backup plan, Leica.
My backup plan. You know what? I have an idea.
I think on that note, we go to break. Yeah. So we'll come back in 10 minutes, folks. See you soon.
Yeah.
Just unmute you. Keep going. Oh no. I've unmuted. I've unmuted us just for the sake of this, just so you know. It's already unmuted, so it will be on the stream during the break screen. Keep going, Colin. Feel free to do Dalek impressions now. Give it a go. I'm early, 2 wee seconds. Now give it a go now. There we go, we're back.
Okay.
It should come through now. Perfect. It's Davros.
Oh my god. This is amazing. Like,
So kids, this is why you don't do drugs. He's lost to infinity. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Colin.
Yeah, rest in the
Wow,
infinite pieces that
that's so
conversation was. The actual fuck.
like, if that was like an option.
Oh, it's working now. It's fine now.
Am I okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody, welcome to the...
like an option.
Oh, it's working now. It's fine now.
Oh dear gods.
Oh my god.
You're giving
Oh,
That
I
was
can hear myself. I can
So
hear myself.
let's contain all this.
Sorry, I had the audio on my, because you know how I've my headset on my phone to interact with you fine gentlemen right now. So I turned my computer audio back on to hear the stream.
Oh, it was glorious.
And it was carnage.
It was glorious because we were getting that,
I'm sorry.
amplifying that. It was, yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
happened to
it was so
cause the Dalek. I really don't.
It's probably just decided to go into like low bandwidth mode or some shit like that. Callum, what were you trying to say though? You tried to say it about 3 times there.
Did I?
Yeah. Oh, never mind. It's gone.
Oh, I think I was just commenting on how wonderful it was. I was listening to the stream and Colin talking at the same time, and it was really, really messing with my brain. I loved it. It was great.
It was,
It was very
amazing.
enjoyable.
Yeah, it was good.
I've tried to do it again in future.
Yeah, when you get
Thank
to play
you, Colin.
Davros. Yeah. It was glorious. Anyway, so welcome
So when
to
you
the
can do it on
Fragments of
command,
Eternity,
that's
that
the-
game that we
that's the
play,
goal.
session 97, part 2. Here are the players. I'm Ryan.
Hello, I'm the players, and specifically, I'm the one of them called Colin, who will be playing the character Lyco Quint. Sneaky, spooky, altogether space cop,
Coast to
coast
coast.
to coast.
Truly
And
the
hello.
word notice of space.
Nico, and I am playing the altogether edgy, fiery, scaly, quirky Zora, Vice Captain.
All right. I'm Alex, and I will be playing Missilebot 5000, the weird mechanic.
Hello.
Hello,
I am Callum. And I,
hear me roar.
as on many occasion, will be playing Zig, the Burning Sun,
From
Commodore Chief Mystic Officer. The
Yep.
best. Space rat in this party.
Yeah. You know it. Fucking hell. Well, that's the session, guys. Hope that was fun. Because, dear gods, that's... How do we top that, right? With our special guest cameo, Davros.
I couldn't believe we got him at such short notice.
Yeah.
I thought
I
we
mean, he's
busy.
not been super busy recently, so, you know,
Mhm.
lockdown's affected
Yeah.
many people differently.
It's just the joys of the power of cameo, I guess, right? Okay, so
Davros got to eat.
yeah, this is true. Back in the scene though. Lyko, I think you had a plan.
Yes,
Oh yes.
it's a good plan.
Does it involve digging underground tunnels? Because I'm dumb.
I think he would just say that he had a plan and then sort of wait for like a beat and then realize other people think he actually has a plan and he's good. He sort of was I was gonna I was gonna shoot my way out.
Oh,
Oh,
with a particle beam.
I can't take that with me, but I think I can probably handle a few guards. Now she's a concern, but I'll play it by ear.
Alice just nods vaguely. And looks at the captain and goes, "What was your plan, Captain?"
My plan?
Yeah, the one that didn't involve MO.
I mean, what's there a plan that didn't involve MMO?
Just literally everything else you had to do in your agenda.
I mean,
Because Alice kind of just brought up the MO thing. Like, let's go kill her. Out of the blue. Really.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind finding Matva, but I've got 0 leads, so, I mean, he shrugs. Fix that solar egg problem. We still got a solar egg? Yeah, we do, don't we? It's just a
Snyder has it.
thing which you use. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting solar egg off our hands. That's, yeah, it's a lot of responsibility. I think.
Well, Lyko, how long do you need on the planet?
I wouldn't think it would go more than an hour or two, to be honest with you. How much are we going to have to discuss? If all was going well, it should be pretty short. But I imagine she has ulterior motives, so let's assume that the meeting is going to take half an hour. Add some time in around that for security procedures.
How long do you think you could
An hour
push the
plus.
meeting? And I mean before you have it. Like if she says, "Hey, Lyko, meet me now," how long do you think you could buy yourself without her losing interest?
No, I mean she's probably got 100 other things to do. We could certainly buy ourselves a similar amount of time. I mean, we could push the meeting back off probably quite some time. In fact, if we
Because
she might even respond that she's busy. I mean, we'll have to see, but it might be possible to get ourselves a day.
I was thinking more like 2 weeks, maximum.
Considering I've responded that I'm in orbit now, that probably would look suspicious.
She kind of like thinks to herself a bit. She looks at Zora and Zig, and he goes, "The egg might have to wait till after the MO thing then, unless we left Lyko on planet, which would look good, actually, especially if we hid the shuttle. If we weren't in orbit, I mean, that would look good."
It's true, but
If you leave me on planet, that
I don't like the idea of Lyko being alone on
yeah,
Triaxis.
oh, hold on, I'm going to be alone in Triaxis regardless. Leaving
Yeah, but for that amount of time.
if you leave the orbit, I actually think that could be smart. If we're clever, then we could convincingly give the impression that that you fully expect to be able to return for me, and that nothing is there that could potentially risk your ability to return for me, which would certainly
It's visually
make
bold
you look less
as well,
involved.
because it doesn't. It looks like you don't have anything to worry about, in a way,
Yeah,
which is good optics.
I think it is.
We also could leave you with backup. In the sense of
who are
two
you
people.
thinking?
And she kind of like shrugs and goes, well, I'll be your backup. Or we could just give you somebody like CC to actually give you tech support on the ground.
CC, an interesting option.
Say what you want about his erratic nature. And she kind of like just does a look at everybody like she knows she's understating that. His technical prowess is significant. He did build the jump drive suit.
No doubt.
So he could make sure
Yeah.
that you were always findable on Traxxas if we come back in, say, 2 weeks and you're not able
That's
to talk to
fair.
us. Leaving on the Vesk shuttle is not exactly ideal, but she just shrugs.
The potential complications of having CC present on Triaxis, especially at times where I won't be able to oversee him.
Well, I thought about that,
have concern.
and then she like pulls out of like her belt 2 spoons and just sits them down.
Distract him with cutlery?
Yeah, pretty much. And then she leans over in the pile of stuff that Weird's been cleaning up and just picks up a roll of duct tape and sits them next to the 2 spoons. There we go.
We could find some way to distract him, I'm sure, but he is intelligent, you know? Not just skilled, he's smart.
He's probably the second smartest person on the crew, actually, if I'm honest. But whether or not he needs to know that is a different question.
Who's the smartest?
She smiles at you and she goes, they wouldn't need to ask.
Oh, burn.
Nick stands up straighter, you know.
And then
I
she
just
said,
I get a bit more stoic as well.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm also realising
I know
CC
she
should be at
used
this
to be.
meeting, but he clearly just bailed on it because he's the chief science officer.
I know
Let's
she
not all
must be-
measure our IQs.
She laughs at it and she goes, I was actually referring to Edgar given what he did to the ship in such a short period of time, but that's okay, I would never tell him that.
I don't. Edgar, right?
She blinks at you. Like she doesn't want to
Very
repeat
smart
it.
cooking. So, I'm happy being left alone, frankly.
I suppose we have head speak.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I think that looks sort of less suspicious, and I think I could potentially do some work on the ground. If anyone else feels like there's stuff they could do, I welcome it. A couple of us wouldn't be too suspicious, but I don't want a large contingent, and
As the first of the officers and ultimately in charge of crew safety, supervising security, and she gestures to you like, oh, I don't want you alone. And she just gives you that kind of look of, you know, she is concerned about this situation, hence why she talked about firing a gun at her from orbit.
do some of my best work alone. But
I'm not saying I'm
more to
sending
the
someone
point.
to babysit you. I'm saying I'm sending someone that when it goes south, they're there for you. And you probably need that. And I don't necessarily think that Edgar is suitable backup, but I would take
agreed.
that. I would take that over nobody, if I'm honest.
How sure are we that one extra body is going to make the difference if it comes to it?
Well, they might survive and tell us what happened.
If you insist, I will
I
bow
do.
to your authority.
She like says, I do, but ultimately, this guy, she like thumbs over at the captain, could be brave and overrule me. She gives you like a kind of cheeky look.
Brave. Oh, don't taunt me.
I think CC is probably more useful on the ship, though.
We've got a lot of smart people on the ship, though. Like, I wouldn't mind you having some backup on the ground, because the last time, well, not I went to the sun. I've never been to the sun. I'm actually excited. We're going to the sun, right?
Alice nods excitedly.
Well, I intend to.
We've attempted that before.
Yeah, the last time we tried to go to the sun, apparently these two ended up on a missing planet. So,
Well,
Arguably,
actually, initially we ended up in a strange side dimension with the god. Then we ended up on a missing planet. Oh,
proven.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that crap anyway, so yeah, this is for the best.
do you want CC dealing with that crap as
Can I
well?
come with you? Can I come with you?
I think as the captain,
Maybe
you
probably
probably
not
ought to
the
stick
best.
with the body of the crew.
Probably.
Alice goes, eh.
I mean, I'm probably at least needed for like any operation, unless it's like going in and maybe clonking some heads. So like, but let's face it.
There are Vesk issues at hand. I think you're probably quite near
Fucking
for
good
them.
backup, like, oh man, way to pep me up, man. Like.
The only problem is
Hey,
it's not like you can come flying to your rescue. That's the problem with it being the captain. Because you
Right,
can't exactly operate the shuttle to like come in gung ho for you.
Don't know. I've always kind of wanted to meet God, so I mean, like I'm interested to see if that happens again. That could be cool.
I think Alice gets excited
Okay.
at that and turns to Zig and goes, "Oh, does God live at the sun?"
I want to ask him why he never gave us a drift drive. Look at all the trouble we made, possibly.
can you imagine if the Vest were given the drift drive early on?
Maybe we. Never mind. Let's not get into vest sociology.
You didn't worship any of the components of Triune. You had your own gods. Really, you should take it up with your own god. Why? They didn't provide anything of any material use.
And I would.
Alice
Good.
adds
Well,
to,
yeah.
Maybe
Alice adds
when
to the
we
ship
attempt to go to
calendar.
the-
Meet Vest God complain. Sorry, please continue.
So I'm taking
2 seconds, Colin. Callum,
the Skittermander.
soon.
Oh no! I was just going to say maybe when we get to, if we attempt to get to the sun, we'll bump into some Vest gods.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So, are you?
I
Who's
thought
that
you
aimed
just
at?
at the one.
Sorrow anyways. Or just the room, I guess, complaining about gods.
I think CC would be good backup for you, but if you have a better suggestion, who would you rather take with you, Michael?
Oh, I don't know that I do.
Because Alice did offer to be the backup. She volunteered first, but she also like said that CC is maybe good support as well because of his tech expertise. And that kind of lets you know that she doesn't exactly think you need somebody combat focused to support you. So there is a compliment in there that she picked CC.
Yeah.
It's just that your tech skills might be lacking somewhat. Hence why she wants to pair you
I mean,
up with
that's
a tech
fair.
buddy, the guy in the chair, as it were.
Also, I think he's actually quite competent with a gun. I get the
Mhm.
impression that he can handle himself.
Hey, you shot Escate in the back, remember?
But you know what? It was really inconvenient, but it was quite cool.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I'm just sort of. I'm going to go along with it. My concerns have been noted.
maybe not filed, but at least heard. Yep.
I would offer to go as well if that would be any better than CC regarding impulse control and whatnot.
It's definitely a good point. I mean, impulse control and all.
If he goes with you, I
That-
can't obviously use his expertise on building any of the recall backup plans.
But you have CC's expertise, and he is the second smartest on the ship.
I mean, he's about to be the only person on the ship anymore that's accurate, Mister. She gives you like a narrowed view, and she says, but also, you have the expertise in the field specific to this, based on your studies of the null space chambers. I don't want CC's drift aspirations to mingle with the null space chamber project. Because if we can fix the null space chambers in such a way that we can dial to each of them, it could link the fine lower and the azure flare, which would be really handy.
While I would very much like the backup of Weird, I do take the point that you might be the guy who has to do the work on this one. So,
But again, if that's who you'd prefer, I won't object to that. It just means I won't have. It's fine. I'll work it out.
Captain, Admiral.
Muted. Whoops. Seems more. Seems less hassle for you, that's for sure. To not have CC done that. I mean, I don't know what you'll do done that. I'm not exactly confident you can keep him in check either.
Hmm.
Hey, Alice screws up her face a bit at that. When you say that way, and she looks at it and she goes, "He is technically a head of a department on board. He should be here
Right.
at this meeting. Actually, that's quite irresponsible. This isn't really supporting my case. But also, if he has a mission, a focus, he has that. He will stay on point. It's just you need to make it interesting."
You need to more like you need to keep him in focus. Remind him that he was doing something. He seems to forget that he's doing something quite a lot.
Yeah, boring stuff you'd ask him to do. Yeah.
So, what do we get him to do to keep him focused?
Remember that time we tried to hack Aspas's files? And then it
That's
blew up
not
a diner?
gonna help with the not looking suspicious part.
No, but you could get CC to do something in that way, and then that way he would, be busy thinking. It's just a thought.
What the dragons? What would be useful to know? Oh man, I think I actually have an idea. This new station. I think we need information on that, right? We need to know what's going on here. That's important. We give them that. Yeah.
If that
There's
goes
clearly
wrong,
something.
that would be bad, but I'll be at the sun. So, yeah.
Look, whatever the dragon's involvement in
It's a good plan,
all this
Marco.
business is,
I like it.
we need to know it, right? At
Yeah.
some point. So yeah,
I think if nothing else,
This
it
is
gives
an
us a bit of
opportunity.
leverage in some way, or it just keeps us more informed to see, because we have potentially a connection with one of the ruling dragons, but we have nothing to go on other than they don't like the people that stole from them. and we don't know if they're in bed with Aspis. Dragons don't exactly need guns.
But their
Yeah.
troops do. They
She
do have humanoid minions.
And she kind of like nods. She goes, "But Triaxis is incredibly wealthy. They have a lot of exports. They do well. They are not It's not like they're fighting a war in multiple systems." She darts dagger looks towards Zora.
I don't appreciate this.
And she goes, "Hey, yeah, to those systems. But
Ooh.
in the interest of not judging, Viscarium doesn't have the manufacturing capabilities to produce enough weapons for the sheer numbers of additional troops they are co-opting into their ranks. And they're kind of bombing the factories that they're taking over. So they use Aspis and other such companies to obviously supplement that. But also, the dragons aren't invading anywhere as far as we know. Right?
As far as I know.
They don't need to.
Yeah.
We're bringing the center of the universe to them. Well, the solar system.
She nods. And then she says, "I think it might be better if we got Edgar to, maybe Zora should assign somebody in the Merciless Blade to drop him off in a discreet vessel instead of us. I think that we should just maybe disembark the Merciless Blade and have nothing to do with him."
Agreed. That works. If we trust that information will stay with the Vesk for at least some time.
She shrugs and kind of looks at Zora as if, what's your read on that, buddy?
I mean,
It does leave the one paper trail that he was assigned by us to be dropped off. But if the Vesk aren't in bed with Aspis or have any love for MO, then why would they care?
I mean, it's not the worst idea. I mean,
And it means if Lyko is caught with the null space chamber, Edgar doesn't fall out with a bomb.
Agreed. That is also beneficial. And finally, I think there's a way that we can play it with Demogesh should he have any questions. We mentioned having a source regarding the bioweapon, the one that got loose in the Kivalari.
Alice nods.
If it comes up, we assisted Edgar because he was our source.
She looks at Zora as if, does that work?
We need him to be alive and, thriving for us to get information off him. That information is potentially useful to Mogesh's ambitions. He probably wanted to continue.
Alice nods again and looks at Zora again as if, does this work?
Works for me.
Okay, so we drop Edgar off, and then they'll assign somebody to drop him off on Traxxas. That separates us from him. We'll leave Lyko and Cece with the shuttle. And then... And she turns to you, Zora, and she goes, "Can you get Lyko and Cece a different shuttle?"
can probably get on a lift down via
Yeah.
going outside.
I had a
I
different
like it.
idea. Our shuttle is handy since this ship doesn't land, but CC could take the drift engine with them and try and rig it into the shuttle as a side project while you're in your meeting. And that way your shuttle has an option to jump instead of angering a nest of dragons.
Mm.
For now, I think it's a good idea that we focus on the dragon files, but I don't know if we should do that at the same time we're spinning other plates, I think I read, is the phrase. So, yeah. He could do that. It's techie, and it would keep him busy. Having a drift shuttle would be handy.
Hmm.
Kind of odds. Be a good escape pod at least in the future.
Hmm.
Yeah. Thoughts, Captain?
I mean,
So we need 3 things: taxi for Edgar, crate of missiles, and a shuttle for Lyko.
do we still need the missiles?
She doesn't answer. She just stares at you.
I mean, it isn't really
it
a
doesn't hurt to
question,
ask
right?
for some missiles.
I mean, yeah. Cool. I'll make a list.
She already swipes over to you. Done.
Good.
Go get him, Captain. She like kind of gently punches your arm.
Yeah, I rolls.
Basically.
I'll just go off the ship and go ask one of these dudes, engineer dudes, to sort it out. Then, I guess.
Yeah, and I think you start us by going like, you'd have to like requisition that through the quartermaster over the. I'll handle it. That's fine.
You'll handle it.
Okay. He salutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. It was that way where obviously you approach and just start talking, saying any chance I can get this, this, and this, and he was giving the old "that ain't my job" spiel until he looked up and went, I'll deal with that. When he realised who he was talking to. So
Okay.
yeah.
I like it. I like it. Good. Good.
Yeah. So
Efficient.
while Zora's off getting some well, quite a lot of stuff actually. What's everybody else up to? What's the plan? Who's breaking the news to Edgar?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Who's the best relationship with Edgar? Oh, that's easy then. It's Zig.
Good luck, Zig.
Good luck, Zig. I'm not here, but I'm wishing you luck anyway.
Admiral.
Yeah, you've got mind speak anyway.
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
it. Yep, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
So
you go looking for
I
him,
guess
do
I
you?
go off and find Edgar.
Yeah. I think Lyko would have told you where he is, I guess, because obviously
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
that seems fine.
Yeah. Lyko quickly says, "Oh yeah, they're in whatever room."
Madvin's room, yeah.
Madvin's room. They're in the middle of a game, but don't worry about it. He's had a few.
Ah, good. And then Zig will just head over and chap on the door, pop his head in.
Yeah, so like the door opens, and then there's just like the smell of smoke and booze that hits you. And you hear them cheering, like, "Way!" when the door opens. And they're like, "You here to take Lyko's seat?"
I can play one hand and then he'll sit down.
He laughs. And
Why
he
you
goes,
injured?
I was going to say he laughs, and he goes, "Well, I used both." I like I went for a similar joke there, Colin.
Yeah.
Weird how we're friends, right? So yeah, you sit up at the table and CC looks as if suspiciously dealing you in. Slowly slides the cards over to you like, Yeah.
Yeah, and customarily takes them and
CC taps on the table and then like barks at you, and then the Madvin says, "It's a 50 credit buy-in."
Zig would pull out his data pad and boop it.
And then they go,
Oh.
right, okay. Do you want to give me a sense motive and a D100 roll, buddy?
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, you've lost 31 credits in
Yeah,
addition to your 50 buy-in.
to my 50.
Mhm,
That's fine. 55 was it?
50 for the buy-in and 31 is the what you lost. And
Is the
on top
loss.
of that, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And you can definitely tell that CC is way better at this than he probably should be, or at least his body language lets on, probably because of his erratic quirks. It's hard to read them. So yeah, bye. That's how that goes. I think time passes and then that's your hand gone. So what is the how'd you break the news?
Yeah, so he goes, so Edgar, the plan is you're going to take a shuttle that is lent to us down to the planet.
Right. Who's lending us
yeah.
a shuttle?
And he would, I guess, Sig would motion to like pointing like up. The guy's upstairs, but even though we're inside.
I think he looks up when you point up. He looks back down. He's like, "God."
No, God.
No, the other ship.
Oh, the Vesk.
Yes.
Huh. When?
Well, Captain Admiral's just asking for it now, so I assume whenever they can fulfill that request. I don't know what Vesk's.
He stands up and
timescale
ruffles
of
like
things
your
are.
forehead, like in your hair, and then he straightens up his suit and fixes his tie, and then cracks his neck, and then he's like, "Pleasure, all," and just turns and leaves.
He knows that the vest won't be long.
I think Zig would look around and just say, "One more hand."
And then CC starts like tripping erratically, and the Bam goes, "You're right. It would only be fair if we split his chips." So yeah, they divide the chips between the three of you. And then yeah, what else? Lyko, what are you up to? Anything in the
Lyko. I will take this opportunity to go and take a powder, as it were. Spruce myself up, make sure that I'm looking sharp and businesslike, and also just armed.
Yeah.
I'm going to take all of my guns with me, and I'll leave them at the door, just to show how not intending to shoot her I am.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll have my 2 pistols and my sniper rifle. My sniper rifle, which will be collapsed, and I'm not going to take it in a suitcase because that looks bad.
Yeah.
But strapped to my back or underslung. I'll keep it underslung.
It's almost the Minbari way of presenting yourself to another race from like Babylon 5. As I said, when they make first contact with races, what they do is they open all their ship port weapons, like all their like weapon ports on their ships, just to show that they're not hiding anything.
Yeah.
I like that. So, yeah.
I'm honestly partly doing it because he is playing into the role of Lyco Quint. This is Lyco role-playing Lyco.
Yep.
He sort of knows what's expected
But
of
who's
him and is
asleep? Is it
deliberately leaning
Lyco
into
or Mulder? So yeah, that's fine. Yep, you can do that. And I think while you're getting ready, I think Alice is just hanging out with you, just like leaning against the wall. Just being present, you know? Not necessarily doing anything. Unless you tell her to leave you alone. Nope.
No, I don't think I would.
Yeah. Yeah, she's kind of just like followed and hung out. That's pretty much it, really. That's just the vibe to that. If she wants to say anything, she definitely isn't actually saying anything. It just seems to be that she's decided that she's just going to watch you get ready.
Right, I'm gonna roll a sense motive on her if you don't mind.
Carry on, yeah.
Yeah, what does Lyco think she's thinking?
That she's trying to distract herself.
Okay, so I as I'm sort of in the middle of civilianing up slightly, because I feel like I will wear my armor. But you know,
I think she's like absentmindedly
fuck it,
passing you your weapons and stuff as you're getting
Yeah.
ready. You know, just making sure your things are going in the right places and whatnot.
yeah, there's only so much I can do to not look, you know, like a
Yep.
guy in what is essentially undead monster armor.
Yeah.
So I will do my most non-threatening version of that. You know, like not wear the mask. And yeah, just try and look semi-professional, and I'll be like, so what's bothering you?
Just what?
Yeah. Hold that a second. Just
Yeah.
just pass her some item that I'm
Yep.
using.
Like hold on to it.
At the point, like, yeah. So I'm not really in need of much assistance here, but you seem to be. So I'm guessing you're doing that for you. So
Oh.
what's up? Still the same.
Yeah. If I go back to the bridge, I still have a choice up there waiting on me that I haven't made yet. So yeah, I'm still not ready to reset him.
It's a tough choice.
I also think having the strip to the sun might give me more time to work out what the right choice is, because I don't want this ship to be under manual control. For the most part, it was designed to be operated in part with the AI support. So
yeah,
you know, we need the computer system integrated fully. It can't be broken. And yeah, you know, she gives you like a sympathetic look. And she says, here, and like attaches wherever the thing you gave her is back to you.
thanks. You know, this isn't going to get any easier, this choice.
Well, if I come up with a great idea.
Sure, and I'm not discounting that possibility at all, but there are some times where there are good options. This is something I've probably told you before. I tell people this all the time. It's something that is hard to avoid learning when you work as a steward. It's something we've seen more than once in our current line of work. Sometimes least bad is the best you're going to get. Sometimes there isn't a good idea to stumble on. Sometimes you just got to pick your poison.
She kind of like puts her hands on like your shoulders as you're staring into like, I don't know, the hollow mirror, like turns you around so you're facing her, and if you wore a tie, she'd be adjusting that, but she's adjusting something on you like very affirmatively, And she's saying, Michael, I get it, but when I was the administrator program for the research facility for Baskerville, I would be occasionally asked to engage in recreational activities such as things like chess, with a lot of the employees. And I think your device only works if you've lost a lot. Just kind of give you like a look. Kind of like a very discouraging, like, eesh, I'm not, this is, maybe like a look of dread, actually, is maybe the best way to put it. She goes, you've made mistakes. You've recovered from those mistakes. I haven't. I've got all that to look forward to. Right?
Look, I understand where you're coming from. I just don't want you to get in a headspace where you're convinced that there's something that's going to present itself.
I've already given myself a deadline. It's fine. She kind of like looks off to the side, like not making eye contact with you with that, and she goes, if I haven't come up with an ingenious solution by then, the reset button gets pushed. Because I can't risk the safety of the ship longer. Because we don't know if the Elibrian will turn up and blow us up. We don't know if, the drift engine's gonna react with another drift engine in such close proximity in operation. We don't know if all this null space kind of engineering is gonna cause us any kind of metaphysical problems. And we're in the middle of a Vescom monster right now. We're not exactly peak at the moment. And yeah, I might even ask for another AI to be downloaded to the databank and we can partition Finn. My only concern with that is it could easily be a program for Demogesh to take control. Yeah. Which is why I haven't asked for that yet. But I have a couple of options available to me instead of resetting. But they're both bad. So I don't want to do them. I need a better option. And I am capable of that. I won every game of chess, Lyko.
Okay. I took your point when you made the...
It was a space station full of smart scientists, Lyko.
Sure.
Ken nods.
And you're right. I have lost a lot. I learned a long time ago now that and out of character, just so you know, I wanted to say something and then I realized it was impossible to say it without sounding like Picard.
Right, okay.
And I don't think that's really how
is it you can do everything right and still fail? Is that
yeah. Exactly the sentiment I'm going for, and I'm like, I can't say that because I mean, it's no.
I tell you what, Patrick Stewart walks into the wrong room with a towel around his waist and goes, "Oh, sorry, occupied, but I was overhearing your conversation," and You can do everything right, you know, and
There
still
was a
fail.
list of famous Armenians. It was it's like, my last mission with the stewards, it was an unusual one, and I handled it. How you can check the records if you like. It's probably not hard for you. I handled it admirably. I dealt with unusual circumstances well. It's not often that you're faced with a sorcerer from before the gap. I did everything right. And he doesn't even really go beyond that. He just leaves it at that.
I think, like, Alice gives you, like, a smile, right? But you can tell it's a lot of energy that cost her, right, to smile. To have a smile, and she goes, yeah, I appreciate that. She kisses you on the cheek, and she just walks away. Not particularly, like, fast, just kind of, like, very thoughtfully, and just walks away. So, who else is doing what else? Weird, what are you up to? What is your plan?
I am going to go and crack on with the null space chambers with
Okay.
the assistance of my new Vesk mystics.
Ooh, okay. So, you've got, obviously, a mystic on board, you've got the Madvin, and the other ones are obviously still up working for Demogesh. So that
I will ask the Madvin first.
Okay, yeah. Do you go to her or do you call her to you?
I call her to me.
Okay. I think. Oh, goodbye. I think some time passes and she finally, like, the briefing room door opens and she walks in and she smiles and she goes, "Weird, right?"
The Madvin.
She nods. "How can I help?" She looks around. Just you can tell she's, like, very quickly taking in all the elements of the room.
The very insane notes across all the rooms.
Yeah. And she goes, "Okay, it's either going to be something really, really dull, or you're going to ask me to be involved in whatever this mess is." And she points to all, like, the holographic projections everywhere.
Yes. Do you have much experience with pocket dimensions?
Organic ones, yes. Why?
So it's much the same principles, I believe, for null space chamber. What we want to do is try and overlay the pocket dimensions of multiple null space chambers so that they're accessible from so that multiple null space chambers can access each other's space.
Right. Okay.
But there's magic involved in this, so it's not as easy as
She kind of chuckles a
simple
little bit at
code.
that, and she goes, "Yeah, no, okay. Where's your captain? I need to requisition some equipment."
My brain comm the captain. Captain, the Madvin has a request.
And Nico remembers he's muted.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that was fast. What's she on?
I don't know. Perhaps you could call her.
I'm in the middle of something. I'm not in the middle of something. Probably heading back for asking.
The random engineer
The
guy,
dude.
yeah.
Don't have a com.
I don't think that's that difficult. I think you probably do. Like, Lyco's probably sorted comms by now.
Okay, right, good.
Yeah. If she's got,
I'll
like,
rely on
security
Michael.
access on the ship, she'd probably attach to the comm system, so.
So if that's the case, then I will Okay then, I'll comma, I guess.
Yeah, so I think
And
she's staring at Weird, and her comm goes. It's the
Yes.
captain, and she goes, "Huh," and it just looks at you, Weird, suspiciously, and then
Weird
answers it.
is going on tying strings between different branch strings.
I like it.
See, we are a lot alike.
The
So,
conspiracy part. Yeah. So anyway,
how
so
you getting along with the crew?
oh, so it's quite literally a social call, Captain.
Yeah, sure, why not? You wanted something?
Yes. I have some plant samples in my lab and my personal storage units. Can you have them transferred to this ship, please?
Absolutely. If you got like a
You already
room
swiped.
number,
You already swiped across the invoice numbers,
good. Okay.
and she goes,
Okay.
"Thank you,
I
Captain."
thought you were about to say you already swiped them both, like just like
No.
That's all right. That's fucking dropped. Cool.
She just says, "Thank you, Captain," because she was expecting to have to start calling you the Abyss all the time, but everybody else calls you Captain, so she's falling in line with that.
You'd probably just hear the creak in my neck and the bit of the yeah.
And she goes, "Remarkably efficient, Captain, you have there, Weird."
We can do some things quickly.
She nods and says, "The plant samples I'm having moved here are things I have worked on regarding transportation through one specimen and emerging from another.
Okay.
And I feel like your research and my research could overlap."
So
There's a big grin.
So there is something to do with magic and plants that allows them to cohabit some form of liminal space that we don't normally have access to.
And she looks at it and she goes, "Why don't you work for us and not just randomly freelancing for him?"
Honestly,
She shrugs.
Just them wrong, man.
the Vesk's approach to androids leaves much to be desired.
Hey,
She kind of just gives a and nods.
Yes, the captain is different from the standard imperial approach.
No argument there. No. You'll find them a very pragmatic person, and I hold no pointless opinions when it comes to factors that contribute to a being. She kind of gives you like a look, and she says, "Unless that factors in to the matter at hand, of course." So,
Of course.
yes.
But-
Show me what you have got so far.
And I begin
Yeah.
from the middle of a 5-dimensional projection, or an attempt to portray 5 dimensions in a 3-dimensional hologram.
Yeah.
Which the strings then go through to the equations on the wall. And yes, I will attempt to do the explain.
Excellent. And in return, while doing that, she explains the biological equivalents that are similar enough principles. And also she then pastes into the Discord chat that your meta player can read the ability she has as a Xenodruid.
Plant transport. That's handy.
Right! It is one of the best abilities in Starfinder, in my opinion. Because you just post your rival a gift plant.
Oh man.
That's pretty good, right?
That is handy.
I like that the
Yes.
range is solar system.
Well, that gives me a good idea of the scope that I'll be working within.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to send
It's
that.
actually that is a really vague scope when you think about it.
Yeah,
Those probably vary dramatically in their size.
What is he doing?
I don't know. It's as if he's
I think
put,
he went underwater for a bit.
or he put it in his
I
pocket.
did I go under
Hold on.
what?
Yeah, it's okay. It's just you sounded
worry about
muffled
it.
briefly. You're good now. You're good now, bud. Right. So it's not
I'm
quite
sure
the.
Sorry, that was
Supreme-
Bane talking.
Great granddaughters.
Oh my god!
Busted. So, yeah. Yeah, so she explains obviously like a lot of things that overlap, and what I really mean by that is it's that move, but with nice in-universe fiction to it.
Yep.
So you get the equivalent of that from her, and you'll probably like your impressions of her beyond Weird's personal impressions will be that this person is as if CC wasn't out of control, like the sheer technical focus this person has as well. Like they've clearly had a lot of agenda regarding their own personal study of like, magic plants. So yeah, that's been their focus, and they seem to be shipping on a whole bunch of containers involving various samples. So yeah, I think your work should overlap in some fashion. How that's going to look at it, I don't know yet, but that's going to be interesting to find out. Between the two of you, any impressions you think Weird would come away with about Demandvin, or any questions you want to ask about like your time like working together, like what you might gauge from her or anything like that, or would that not even matter to Weird?
He's a ruthlessly practical individual, but I think what else will go on.
So in case there's any more information, because obviously that whole to fight someone is to know someone vibe, I feel like also to science out with someone is to know someone. So
yeah,
Steer not too long into the science.
I'd say she's somewhat. I don't even know how to say it.
I think as well, it might give you more insights into your technomancy dabblings, right? Like,
Yeah.
It might be a nice overlap because this is literally like hybrid technology we're looking at. It's like biotechnomancy we're designing, which is
Creating a new
interesting.
school.
Yeah, which is really cool. So
I was wondering if her approach is in line with the Vesk orthodoxy, as I would have understood it, or perhaps
her
plants seem very chill for a Vesk.
Yeah, I think maybe during the course of it you've learned that the very fact that the Viscarium have taken over lots of varying flora, let's face it, some of it that would have fought back, much to my dismay. But yeah, the very fact that they've taken over various like they need somebody to study the usefulness of that, right? Like, will we just, invade this planet full of sentient plant creatures and take over, or will we, like, is there something we can bet? Will we profit from this? Will we make technological advances from this? Will it improve the Viscarium, or is it literally just a slave force, right, to join the Viscarium engine? So they obviously eventually in the Viscarium histories would obviously have went, yeah, we definitely need Xenodruids, right? So they might not be the most praised people, because remember, she doesn't have a title, but she's clearly quite important on that ship. Or it was, until Zig took her.
Sorry.
But like, she was the one that was put as the like the moderator, I guess, if you will, the arbiter of all the other arguing Vesk, the scientists and the mystics. So, and they had titles, it seemed, and she doesn't. So that's weird. Ultimately, as are you. So yeah, she definitely seems a bit more. Maybe you're getting to see a bit more of the Viscarium that isn't on all the posters, right? Like there's definitely like the very fact that they've got a team of mystics on consultation's a bit not on the poster for the Viscarium as well. So yeah, definitely seems like they're a lot more like other races than they would like to let on. Maybe that, or just it is 5 soldiers to every normal Vesk. Maybe that's the problem as well. So it's like the fact that the Klingons could build spaceships, and people go, that's a curiosity. Yeah. Even if they did inherit the technology from the Herc. But anyway, so
The Herc.
I'm sure that's where they got them from. They had like a parent race, essentially, the Klingons.
I mean, so does everything.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the gist of what you're getting from your time with her, essentially. She probably talks about considering moving into like fauna-based research, but her natural gifts remain with the flora of everything. She is much more in tune with plants than she is with animals, and there was a lot of ethical concerns regarding animals, because she knew that is only so many approval stamps away from it becoming a fully sentient subjects being tested, to which she saw little benefit to.
Is that common in this for Skyrim?
I don't know how much that would be knowledge you'd have access to. Do you want to just roll culture? We'll see how that goes.
It's one of these character sheets here.
One of them.
Loading.
Keep loading.
Right.
I liked how there was very different
It's
references
stupid
there. It was
different.
really good. My brain went with your one originally, Callum, because that was
Oh, thanks.
raw high.
30.
Perfect. That was exactly the difficulty I'd set it at. Well done. Yeah, I feel like you'd know enough to know that there were lots of like leaked reports about horrendous experiments on people that the Vesk were willing to do. But it was obviously a lot of the PR of that was filed under accidental weapon testing. Because they don't want to be seen as people that would experiment on the newly acquired species within the Viscarium. But yeah. And as I said, because there's that whole thing about bioweapons that they're not quite honourable, you know. But yet clearly some people still develop them regardless. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a mixed bag on that one, but it's not... You've definitely heard of it happening in the Viscarium, at least. Whether or not it is core Viscarium policy is a different thing, but it's clearly not Demadvin's policy. And I think you learn that through your... Like, her just talking excitedly about her work and you obviously informing her like what you've like found out thus far, and I don't know. Do you get to the point where you get any camaraderie with her and you share your enthusiasm for things that explode, or was that still business?
I let it slip out. Like I thought that enthusiasm is always gonna sneak its way out, I think.
Yeah.
But,
it's hard to keep a lid on explosive things sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Maybe it sneaks out in a way that isn't particularly, a little bit offhand.
Yeah, like maybe
the joy of explosives.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, maybe off the back of one of her stories or something, you said, "Oh yeah, like that time we blew up this thing," or something like that. Yeah.
That time I landed the ship in the garden of Absalom Station.
Yeah.
Which is
To start listing some of the impossible things.
And I think there's just ocular ridge raises every so often when they're looking up from their work. Yeah, like interesting. Definitely making lots of mental notes to come back to these things when you're taking breaks from the actual subjects at hand. But yeah, no, it's good. I like that scene. I like that a lot. While you are working away, yeah, Zora, do you have anything else you want to do?
Do I? Do I really? Not really, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think if that's the case,
so.
then there's as you're approaching, like maybe you're heading back to the final hour, after your requisitions, plural, Edgar's heading out of the ship, and he's got his suitcase with him, and he's just heading down the ramp, I guess, or the docking like corridor, whatever the hell the final hour has that lets you leave it, and it's like, well, Zora, It's been Yep.
Summer.
And he just looks at you.
Where are you going?
Remember how you asked for him to get his own private secret shuttle from the Vesk so that yours weren't dropping him off? So the Merciless Blade's gonna be. Remember that?
I do, but like, how do you? Where do you know where you're going?
I'm sure one of these lovely gentlemen will show me. And he just grins like an absolute asshole.
I mean, it's probably not wrong, but I mean, sure you're not going.
He sits.
I'll leave it in your utmost hands. Like
he sets the case down
most
next to him,
capable hands.
and he looks at you and he puts his hand out for you to shake his hand.
I just want to know I'll shake it.
Before you can, he just laughs and punches you in a Vesk salute instead.
Oh, ha! Can I take it back?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And he does stagger a bit, right? Because he is like, a human. And he chuckles and he says,
Ostensibly.
"Genuine pleasure, Zora. Always liked working with you." Just like pats you on like your shoulder twice with his arm as he's like walking past you with his suitcase in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll not respond to that because I mean, wasn't it always a pleasure?
Yeah, maybe for him it was. Yep. He definitely never said it was your pleasure.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yep. So yeah, you just head back to the ship at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think maybe that's maybe like the last time we're likely to potentially see Edgar. So I guess his theme music plays, whatever that is. Probably just ripped off from the Hulk TV show.
Some really sad ambient music has just come on in my background, so I'm pretty sad now.
Oh,
It's So What by the Anti-Nowhere League. Really sad and ambient.
Don't know that.
Or it's just anything by The Who.
Have a listen. Have a listen, Callum. Have a listen to it. See what you think of it, Callum.
So, Zora, you get back on board. I guess you head to the bridge or somewhere else.
Probably the bridge.
I was gonna say, I was like trying to work out like where else would you need to go other than like sleep if you were tired. But I don't think you're tired. I think you have slept. It's like I'm sure you've slept and you've ate, so you've actually been responsible with your sim. Yep. And if you go and catch Matfa, you'll actually fill up your work bar as well. So yeah, you're doing well. But yeah, you get to the bridge and you're there obviously alone for one of the first times, I guess, in a while. You look around your bridge and obviously look out at the windows at the sprawling mini mega city that the actual bloody interior of the Merciless Blade is like, with the ships coming and going out the view screen. And then like there's a beeping and like Finn like half flickers in and like is all distorted and broken and projecting in the wrong ways, and there's like 5 of them there, and you can parse the message together that says you have an incoming message.
Let's press the button. Put on.
I think it's Emma.
And like it like flickers off, where like Finn just basically like flickers out as if the power ran out. And then the message comes on, and it's the equivalent of like the Vesk fucking constitution of acquisition that you would just declare and hand to a planet to like quell the masses of any rebellions, which is just essentially a massive, ridiculously worded piece of PR that you just broadcast to planets you're taking over. The ones that, once the violence is stopped, it then becomes here is our message. You're now part of the Viscarium,
Yeah. You will give like 10% of this to use this percent, this and that. You'll like give 5 babies every year, yada yada.
And you will be improved in the Vesk way by the ones that die are dead, and the ones that survive live. The Vesqui. And yeah, the only thing is, you notice that there's one word that appears several times throughout the Declaration of Acquisition. And it's a shame we weren't running yesterday, actually, because that would have been a funny statement. But yeah, the Declaration of Acquisition has the word loyalty many times throughout it, such as your loyalty will be rewarded. Loyalty is the way to growth within the Viscarium. Very encouraging and discouraging of disloyalty is this document. But the word loyalty is like it's missing from every space it should be in throughout this message.
Okay.
Yeah. This obviously rings a lot of bells with Zora.
Uh-huh.
Because why would that be
Is this
important?
Is this for Matva by chance, I wonder?
Look at that. First try. Yeah. And that's it. That's the message.
I had a feeling it'd be something where I was like, blinking light, who's going to call me right now unless it's a double guest telling me to hurry the fuck up and like leave.
like, are you still there? Get out! Yeah.
That's about the only other thing I could think of. Like, and the only other person that would have more comms like that would be her. So,
Yeah.
really.
And that's it. That's just the last shot of you just going, huh, to the message. Because obviously, the word loyalty being the optimum word in the message, ultimately, since it's the one missing from the Declaration of Acquisition. Yeah, that's the end. What are we calling this one, guys?
Loyalty.
Yeah.
Acquisition day.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, so right, I'm gonna hit you with something here. Think about this. It's the Declaration of Acquisition, but it's been changed. You can see it's been remixed. So it's the remixed acquisition.
I mean, put it in if you think it's worth it. It's good enough for me. Right. We've also got the amendment to the Declaration of Acquisition. Any other suggestions for titles? What have we got?
I think we're like acquisition day. Who would I? I don't know.
Hold on, I have misspelled that.
Was the antimatter mega missile?
Yeah, that was good as well. Yeah, antimatter mega missile launcher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Marvel character.
Doesn't it?
You want to
Oh yeah, it sounds like one of Emma Frost's students that get killed.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Yep.
Yeah, who they chose to use the name of the character as a completely different character in Deadpool for reasons.
Were they totally different though? Like.
Yeah, like I don't remember much about her, but wasn't her power set different, and she didn't look like her?
I think they toned her power set down because she was actually apparently like really fucking strong in the book. Getting the X-Men.
All I've seen of her is that she died, and then Emma Frost saw images of her later during the Whedon run.
I think she was called a warhead because she literally did just. I think she could nuke places essentially. Like, I think she had that level of boom boom there, but they obviously toned it.
Wow. So yeah, her ultimate levels of abilities, right? So they've wrote in the full list here, and it's definitely way more than I was fully aware of what she's capable of. So she's obviously had a lot of development in the comics since I read her, which was arguably a lot of years ago.
But she's still dead in the comics, right? She is still gone.
We've got telepathy, precognition, superhuman strength, speed, durability, and reflexes, reality warping, matter manipulation, nucleokinesis, and telekinesis. That is a package deal and a half. That's what that is. But
basically, I can do everything and make things explode.
Definitely toned down.
Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no, they brought her back and made her look like in the film.
Yep. Anyway, back in the wrap-up of this game. What are we thinking?
Fuck you, Marvel.
That's I mean, put it down, but
fuck you, Marvel. I mean,
anyone?
I'll go for that.
Okay.
Did I put that in the wrong place? I think I did.
I
Didn't
moved it
Oh,
for you,
fuck.
don't worry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna vote for me. I know I'm losing, but I'm gonna do it
It's
anyway.
okay, yeah, no, it's okay, we got it. So it's acquisition day. Yep.
I can lose with honor, you know.
Ironically, we technically lost somebody on this day, but that's fine. Um,
On this day.
yeah.
No one will see it coming.
Right, so goals.
Discovered the whereabouts
Oh,
of
well.
Malfa. Not yet. Not yet.
Seems like there's some
No,
momentum for
but
that, though.
you're on the
Mm.
same.
Might be able to get some secret coordinates. Secret messages.
Secret messages. Yep.
Either that or she's just like one of the shittier Batman villains and she just can't help but send you weird clues.
Yeah. It's like the advent calendar villain. It's just one clue a day for the month.
I mean, hey, Calendar Man was like reinvented for Long Halloween and he was really good in it.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, sometimes like, reinventing things can work. Right, but we've not done that. So, Quint, we haven't actually...
I ain't done that yet either.
No.
Clarify the Shackle situation, no, and that might be a little bit off, so I might want to put in something else in the meantime. I'll have a
To be
think
fair,
about
you
it.
do have like the standing update on that was like Hallen, didn't she get in touch with you and said she'd meet with you at our office essentially? So I'm sure that was back on the Versus when she was like finished. One of her like wherever she wasn't really super like detailed about it. Just I will be in the office at this time and date. You know, please get back to me whenever. Weird. We haven't established your business yet, but arguably, if you could involve plants now, that could be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do some bio-teleporting legs.
Yeah, right. Ideally, they'll take the rest of the body with them, or maybe they won't, but we'll see.
We'll work that out.
Yeah, that's future problems. And Zig, you have not reunited any drag queens yet.
Not yet. However, perhaps one day I will.
Perhaps. Are any of you changing your personal goals?
No.
Given that we...
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Zara? Quinn?
Nah.
Cool.
Nah, I'll keep mine.
I'll also keep mine for the time being.
Perfect. And general goals. He's going to move, deliver Edgar. You've off-handed that, so it's done. He's no longer on your ship. So that's done.
Shift down on it.
Goals.
Yeah.
And cell shifting.
Yep.
Cool.
Edgar has been delivered potentially to Triaxis.
Delivered unto evil.
It's, you know, when a package says it's been delivered, but really it's been delivered to your local courier, and they've just not like that's it. They're like,
It's the
oh,
most
Yeah, and then it's
disappointing
3
update.
months later, you haven't fucking received it, and
yeah.
You've almost leveled up, by the way.
Nice. I'm starting to forget the levels were a thing in this game.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah. So, what, 3 away? It's not bad. Bad at all.
Not bad, no.
Yeah. And you'll be level 16, which is exciting. So,
Oh, exciting.
right, we did not
Just
steal
kinda
the
hiding.
Merciless Blade, or Blafter.
Bluffed.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Bluff.
We might have to wait till we're level 16 and then
Yep.
do that.
Yep.
We'll wait till we're level 18 to do that.
Yeah.
We can jump to level 18.
No, it's when you're level 20, you'll get the Merciless Blade and then go all the way back to 18. Yep. Right, so conclude the Key Valera case hasn't happened yet. I get the feeling that Lycon needs to complete his personal goal before he feels like he can complete that goal. We have kind of made progress on deliver the Solar Eclipse Monastery, because that's kind of what you've agreed to do now. Minus Lyco on his mission to the planet with CC and their new cool shuttle that might get a drift upgrade. And then gain useful MO info. And arguably Lyco might do that as well.
Yeah. Mate.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And for instance, if she gets blown up by this mega bomb and doesn't die, that'd be useful information.
Yeah, it means Edgar got everything wrong. Yeah, and she's definitely like closer to that unkillable vibe that seems to be going on. Yeah, like there's a lot of wins in that.
Since being acquired by the Vesk, we've been really efficient.
True, right?
I hate to say it, but maybe they're onto something.
Wow.
I've been saying that.
Just because they make the trains run in time, you know.
Somebody's starting to convert. I'm thankful.
Colin, that was the exact face in my head as well. It was just because the trains run in time. So bad. Oh, dear. Okay, so we have an empty general goal, guys. Let's fill that.
I've got to deliver egg, haven't we? Or something along the lines.
Yeah, so that's deliver the eggs as well, actually. The other suggestion that came up would be something about the dragons and using CC to get info on the dragons. That is something you did mention, which isn't on the board. So
we have a space.
Yep.
Do I?
Unless somebody's got anything more pressing they want to put on there.
Might as well sling it in for now. I mean, I don't.
I can't think of anything immediate that we've not either already got or.
That's why that
I'm going to put it in then.
Yep, sounds good to me. As I said, that's why I brought it up quite quickly there, because I thought that is kind of a good goal, to be honest. It's quite straightforward.
Dragon info related to... Or just dragon info? Related to new station.
Yeah, it gives us more understanding. Until like
it's
17
more,
weeks from now and they go, what dragon info was it? Yeah.
Dragon info.
Yeah.
Oh yes, kill Hermione.
Kill Hermione. Yep. There we go. There we go indeed. Goals going once, going twice. Goals concluded.
Goals are concluded.
Yes. Sarah, start us off with wrap up chat.
It was good to be back, for starters.
Right.
What was that? 3 weeks? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? I don't know. It feels like 4 weeks.
It was 3, I think, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. The 14th of June, and now it's the 5th of July. So yeah, 3 weeks.
Aye. It was good. It was nice just kind of planning what we were supposed to do for that, since we were away for so long as well. Kind of helped, because,
and Alice had a lot of concerns that she'd obviously spent a lot of time thinking about, right? So she needed to share some concerns with the group, being like, what are we doing about this MO liability problem we don't seem to be really doing anything about actively?
How much she was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, damn, she's been plotting.
She seems to be a lot more looped in than she was. And that's interesting. Yeah.
So, it's kind of sad to see Edgar go. Ish.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have liked to have helped him more. I would have, but it just all seemed very troublesome.
Yeah. There's very little to really help him with at this stage, because he does seem to be just a man driven at this stage, right?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I definitely would have liked to have tried to helped his cause, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be possible, unfortunately.
Nah, he's not that fussed with that. He's definitely he's got a lot of confidence in this bomb he's built. So yeah, fair play to the guy. Let's just hope the Vesk shuttling him down don't ask him any questions about his suitcase. It'll be fine. Because I feel like they're going to be eaten by a rainbow shadow demon. So
yeah. Matva's cheery.
Yeah, her little note. Yeah. Or did you mean Demadvin?
That's the one.
Right, okay.
That's
Demadvin.
The one. That's the one, actually. Sorry, I know Messi Matva. Messi with Demadvin. Too many Maz.
So, yep. She's more from the line that the Mogesh obviously comes from, right? The Dim line. Because she's Demadvin.
I do wonder what Matva's up to.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What's she up to? What's she wanting?
Mm.
I mean, obviously, what she's wanting, she's probably saying I've got no loyalty or some shit like that. Like, I don't know.
But why would she? Is it in her nature to do dramatic and yet also
Probably not.
vaguely cryptic? Yeah,
Probably
it feels
not.
like it's meant to be a clue.
No, it's a clue. It's absolutely a clue.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that was good. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. Also, Zora might get to see the sun. That's exciting. As weird as that is to say.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, see the sun up close and personal.
Yep. It's not to say the lizard wants to go closer to the sun, but yeah, it's nope, it's good. It's really good. Yeah. People actually made you want to be the captain more in this session as well.
I know. Go get his stuff, Captain. Go get his other stuff, Captain.
Yep.
But I'll just be the message boy, lads.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got the authority to requisition things. You know?
It's true. It's true.
You are the authority in this particular situation, definitely.
That's all I get used to.
Do you want to write down that you got a
Just
crate of
like
12
Starfinder.
missiles, by the way, just so nobody forgets that? But that is
Nice.
a crate of
Oh,
12
yes.
missiles.
Nice.
You don't have a missile launcher yet, but there is 12 missiles you got.
You can make a missile launcher.
I could just.
You don't necessarily need to have a
telekinesis
launcher.
them at people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You do have a bomb
I was
bay,
actually thinking.
so
We could just make like a
Anyone-
big box and just sling them inside it and have them outside our fucking ship, just magnetise them onto it or something like that. It's fine, man. Like,
That seems safe.
just have
It's
like
perfectly
what
safe,
weird
that's
standing
the best.
behind them with like a big double-handed hammer and just hit the back of them like they're bullets.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
It's a good plan.
Pew!
Like leans over and goes
Rather
to his
than
caddy. Can I have the 5 hammer, please? I can see
What's
it.
the 5 hour? I was 5 of them.
This is just again, it's back to Guardians with Drax on the hood of the Milano, isn't it? With the gun that Rocket built, trying to free up Gamora and Star-Lord. That's what this scene is. So, yeah, that's good. Anything else, bud?
No.
Speaking of our resident artillery, weird.
Alright. Yeah, it was good to get our artillery upgraded further. I look forward to riding one of those through the atmosphere.
Hell yeah. Either up or down, doesn't really matter at this point.
One up, one down. It's cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's good to get some more engagement with the Madvin as well.
Yep.
She's now met multiple members of the crew.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was just good to get back into it. I don't think there's too much else I can add that you didn't already cover.
It's also just nice actually having the Madvin be what I would call a normal person to RP as an NPC.
A normie.
Yeah, like they're able to be like, oh, I can be casual with the people that are more casual, and I can be professional with the people that are more professional. It's nice not being like quirky, offbeat Alice or erratic CC or very quiet Ivan. So
yeah, that said, when she then realised that none of the rest of the crew are normal, it's it'll get weird quickly.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, quite frankly. This is another trip to the sun after all, so
yes, we'll see if we can make it this time.
It'll be good.
I think that's all good for me.
No, good. Plus, also, on the bright side, no pun intended with the sun, you will need to go back and get the egg from Thanaida, which does give you an opportunity to maybe capitalise on your goal.
I'll finally finish that mission.
Which would be nice. Just make sure you write yourself a note to do that, so that you actually give him some time to have a wee chat with her. Because it would be nice to have them have a scene. We can definitely maybe put that goal to rest now, because it's been a wee while on the board. So yeah, I'm good. And Lyko.
Lyko. Yeah, so there was a little bit of a talky one again. When is it ever not with us, to be fair?
I know.
Yeah, so that was nice. I think it was like we sort of tangled with the question that we kind of avoided of what specifically we're going to do. And I think Lyko was quite happy, excuse me, to kind of just wing it on the scene.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think you're sort of accepting that you're gonna have to deal with. There's going to be a situation on world, regardless of how much prep that you do, that is going to be dangerous and it's going to be unpredictable. And I think Lyko is just like, sometimes you have to walk into that situation regardless. So I think I wanted to convey a little bit of fatalism in him this session, and I think it did. But he's also like, he basically trusts his ability to get out of a situation like that probably more than he trusts anyone else in the cruise, even though other people might have abilities that make them more able to do so. Lyko sort of thinks he's probably going to be more able to talk his way out or walk his way out.
He is kind of the, no pun intended, operative of the group.
Yeah,
I mean that in exactly the class title that why it's so aptly named. Like the term I was going to use was like a solo, but solo kind of implies a bit more a cyberpunky like soldier type, but it really isn't a self-operating unit, right? You are very much, very
he can sort of. Yeah, and I think that for me, is part of what drew me to the character type. But also, like, it's like part of what I've built into him with his whole sort of space cop persona. Having CC is going to be an interesting challenge as well as opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm eager to see how that goes and see what we can dig up in the dragons as well. And of course, I'm eager to see how Edgar's plot goes. But yeah, we seem to have like multiple things that are sort of coming to fruition. So, Weird seems to be getting there with his. I'm not even sure how you would describe it. His spatial
grand unifying
thingy.
theory.
He seems to be his null chamber kind of theory seems to be starting to pan out and maybe actually lead to workable results potentially.
At least Alice had confidence in it, given her suggestions on different things.
But now we also have someone who has something kind of similar that they can do through other means.
Yep.
Informing in the case, right?
Yep.
The Xenodruid. So, we have the sun coming up, which is always of interest to Weird. Not Weird. I mean, it is probably too. But I meant Zig. And also the captain has A, the Mogesh stuff going on, and B, related to the Demogesh stuff, Matva stuff, which is obviously just literally popped up at the end of the session. They're really sort of reared its head.
Which is handy.
So I think it's sort of all go at the moment. Everything seems to be kind of popping off a bit.
Yeah, it's almost.
But not like in a sort of crazy anarchic way. It's more in a here are a lot of options that have come up.
Yeah. It's also just because there is a lot going on in this game. Like, there has been a lot of quest lines in this game. And a lot of them are obviously overlapping in some areas. So it is nice to get to the point where these have been a long time coming to Triaxis, and then getting here and realising a lot of things are opportunistic now isn't a terrible thing. Such as like chasing up on dragons and their connections with them, chasing up on all the Aspa stuff and the Vesk stuff, even to a degree the why can't I think Bone Sage stuff as well, given the input from Sindel from last time, with his intel saying that the Bone Sages seem to have engaged on behalf of, or the Corp Fleet, sorry, have engaged on behalf of a lot of the Vesk kind of war fronts, which is interesting with the assets moving around. So, yeah, it's definitely a lot going on. As Alice said, a lot of plates spinning. I thoroughly enjoyed Unalice's little moment again. Very nice. She definitely seems to have imprinted on you for the when you need to talk about real stuff, go speak to Lyko or hang about in his doorway. So that was good to have another rescene with the two of you. I did enjoy that a lot. Very, very good. And I kind of liked ultimately you were like, yeah, you don't have to worry about failing that happens, and you just move forward with it.
I wanted to. It's funny how you sort of like said it there, like the real stuff. Like I think sometimes, despite being an undead space cop, Lyko gets to be the grounded character, and he gets to be the one who says, "Look, there might not actually be a satisfactory answer here."
Much like the advice you gave Zig before, right? Like, sometimes
Yeah.
the world's full of bad people.
We're not the good guys. We're just guys, and so what I'm sort of telling her, I guess, is kind of equivalent to that. Is like, look, there are limits to what we can do. It's not. I'm not saying to her like in terms of because we're just people, but I'm saying to her sort of because like events can get ahead of you. Like however good you are at XYZ, something from completely outside your frame of reference could happen. There's like I just tried to sort of convey that sense that like he maybe looks at the world in a little more a sort of limited terms. He sees things perhaps as he. I think maybe less than for instance your Weirds or your Alice's. He doesn't see a sort of infinite possibility. It's more like infinite options for things to go wrong at times.
Yeah.
He really is quite fatalistic in ways, but he's a fairly upbeat kind of character. So I don't think he comes across as too glass half empty.
I think though I like the point she made in regard, like as a response to that, which was that you've experienced a lot of loss to come to this understanding.
Sure.
And she hasn't. It's like, you've lost a lot, which is why that is your new way forward. I haven't. This is not right. I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to get used to getting it wrong is kind of like the understatement there as well. Maybe the subtext. Yeah. It is interesting that she's got this, like, this is not the thing she wants to have as her first big fuck up.
I would say to an extent that to Lyko, that's the machine talking. And I don't know if that's a really fair way to think of it, but like that's certainly how Lyko would think of it. Is like this. No, if you simply have the appropriate data and you accomplish the task based in that, then you'll get the desired result. That I am doing the correct thing with the appropriate information and the appropriate, whatever, then it will go right. Like I haven't lost because I understand.
Yeah, hence the Picard quote that came to your
variables.
mind, right? Because it is a very appropriate thing to say back to that. You can still do everything right and still fail. It is a very good point.
Exactly.
Like.
That's why it was so apt. But for obvious reasons, I didn't want to quote Picard.
Which is completely fair. Yeah, completely fair. But that was good. It was a nice wee scene. As I said, I do like the scenes that she gets with the crew when it's like one-on-one stuff, because it's nice to get that slightly more kind of, I want to say less exposition-y, but just inner monologue kind of justifiably in a conversation, because it'd feel weird to have her standing in front of the crew and just being like, here is everything I'm thinking. Yeah, it's been nice, and obviously since like her and Weird have been slightly estranged, it's been nice that she's kind of focused more on like our friendship with you. So I've enjoyed that side of it. It's good. Even if she doesn't always necessarily agree with you, she at least is willing to hear you, which is good. Especially since you also went to comfort her.
Why should she always agree with me, right? Yeah, exactly. I think there's some mutual respect there.
Oh, definitely. Because as I said, she was like lying there on the bridge, basically like, and you were like, are you okay? And she's like, no, I am not. So it was good. As I said, you're the one that's willing to engage her in that side of her journey, which is probably a lot of that's still new for her, right? Having to deal with horrible decisions. She's got responsibility now again, right? She's the admin program for this crew now. So yeah, it's good. I enjoyed that. Anything else, bud?
No, that is me.
Good. And last but not Zig. Zig.
Wait, what? No, wait, what? I guess I'll briefly touch on Alice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just so interested to see where her sort of like inner journey goes with the whole fixing Finn
Mm.
scenario. I don't know, maybe it kind of just speaks to Zig and the kind of like it's how Zig might feel about Edzo 14, but Zig
Mhm.
has the realism part of his brain. Whereas, Alice is obviously very used to having an answer.
Yeah.
Which is so it's gonna be really interesting, and it's quite kind of nice to see. No, obviously it's not nice. It's not a nice
Mhm.
situation, but it's nice to see Alice kind of have that sort of like these struggly
Uh-huh.
moments.
Yeah, it kind of makes it more real,
Um,
What a
right?
cruel thing to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to. I just want to see Alice
Your
struggle.
butts.
That's it. But yeah, no, like it, and like in whether or not it's intentional or not, it kind of almost feels like that plays into like the reason why she's being a bit more like okay, um, like almost as if she's just accepted, like finally accepted her place in the crew of like okay, no, this is my role.
Mhm.
I'm now going to voice my concerns and bring all this stuff to the table that
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, which is so maybe that's a distraction technique, who knows? But
It can definitely be
it
both. Like
definitely
for me, the insider on that was definitely, you're 100% right. Alice is definitely on that track, right? She's like, this isn't just me being asked by random people in their downtime to play them at chess, right? This is now me, and things can go wrong. It's not a safe environment anymore, a controlled environment, and I'm now being asked to make decisions without knowing what the likely outcomes are. Much like what obviously Lyko was saying in that regard. It's like, yeah, there's now a lot of unknowns that you can get wrong. And the fact that she would actively be making a decision that would go wrong in her head doesn't sit well with, like, the old Alice. So, yeah, definitely a lot of finding your feet. And I think that's what she was doing in that meeting, definitely, was why aren't we dealing with the problem in front of us? She literally says not dealing with the problem in the bridge, that she's actively left on the bridge so she doesn't need to deal with it. But yeah, it was good. Like, I will focus on other things that need focused on, such as Emma O. Why aren't we dealing with Emma O? Because isn't the other liability called query a problem for us? Blah blah blah, tying it all together. It was good. It was good to kind of go to that. As well, from a GMing point of view, I kind of wanted her to not so much lead that conversation, but at least highlight a lot of things that lets you refocus what you're doing. Because I didn't want to have a session where we just repeat and catch ourselves up. I wanted a session to aim us at something, to psych us up for the next kind of mission. Because we do a lot of catch-up sessions and they are useful, but I feel like we had enough still rattling around our brains that we could be like, no, we just need to point the crew at things and get the tasks done now. So, yeah, you're definitely not wrong with your insights there, Callum, into Alice's specific purposes to herself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's good.
But yeah, no, it's nice. I think it's also just quite nice that it feels very much like Lyko's gone from that like almost realism role model to Zig to the realistic realism role model for Alice.
Mm.
They're kind of at like similar points in their journey in that regard. Which yeah, it's just I think it just kind of
it's nice symmetry.
Someone's got to
nice
bring you guys
addition
down
to
to
the
earth,
crew. Yeah, and obviously I'm really interested to see where the whole thing with Finn goes. It's just thingy. I'm very looking forward to hopefully maybe possibly perchance going to the sun.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be lovely?
How yeah, that'd be good. I think that would be the kind of like coming home, having like set yourself, maybe not set yourself up in the real world before going home, but that's sort of like coming home with the world experience and like actually no, I'm going home, I have purpose. I'm not like running back to home type vibe. So yeah, I'm really interested to see where that kind of takes us.
Yeah,
And,
because like Ziggs grew up quite a chunk since he was last there. So yeah, definitely. Also, welcome Tom. You just joined us for the wrap-up chat.
welcome.
The literal last thoughts of the wrap-up chat, I believe, as well. Yeah.
Sorry, you just have to listen to my ramblings from now
Good.
on. Yeah, I mean, there was just a little. It was nice to catch up with everyone. It was nice to be back, obviously. I mean, missiles is always a good thing.
Yep.
Can't argue with missiles. It was nice to see the captain be like the captain and pull his authority and just take stuff. Brilliant.
Yep.
And I think it was just the interaction between Demadvin and Weird was just great. It was nice to see, Demadvin obviously being like super passionate about, yeah, just stay for the wrap up chats. That's it. It's all you need. You'll catch up. Yeah, it's nice to see Demadvin being super passionate about all that. What she's really into and kind of like sharing that excitement with members of the crew. Well, Weird. And I think from Zig's point of view, Zig can learn a lot narratively from Demadvin, which will tie into a lot of stuff that happens mechanically later on.
Good.
Mostly to do with interplanetary teleportation, but let's
Yep.
Intergalactic planetary. Really gets the scale backwards in that one, doesn't he?
Yeah, and antimatter mega missile launching super colossal ultranauts. Yeah. Yep. There we go. The final session title. Yep.
It's just a Muse lyric.
Yep. It's a Muse album by that stage, I think.
Yeah, it's sad to see Edgar go. Also, it does bring up, like, if, let's say Edgar succeeds, but Edgar also dies. I don't think I know anyone else who can, like, pick up the old radiation egg. So, because I feel like my backup for Edgar is Emma.
Okay, maybe that should come up
So
during the meeting, maybe, but yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. I'm not 100% sure.
On the plus side, though, that does kind of solve itself, though, right? If nobody can get to it, then nobody can get to it, though.
That's
right?
true.
So unless you think the Libra can get
I don't
to
know. Maybe the Radiant Supreme has some weird thing up his sleeve, but I don't know.
Gun.
Slugs. Imagine just a gun, just shoots the egg. Done. I mean, if Tenaida's willing to become the Hulk, you could just let her go after it.
I mean, I do have remove radiation, so like.
Just tape yourself in a hazmat suit to her back.
Cast that a few times, I think.
Yep. Yeah, definitely an interesting plan, though. But I think that's another good reason to think maybe it's not a great idea to just attempt to kill Emma O if she is your backup plan.
Yeah. It wasn't something I thought of until like halfway through the session.
Good.
So it's like, oh. But,
it's a good thought to raise, though, especially in wrap-up chat. Definitely good to highlight.
So yeah, but it'll be really interesting to see where everything goes. Super excited for next.
Me too.
Thank you for running.
Oh, thank you for playing.
Great.
Yes, it was good. It was good fun. Nice
On
to be
you
back.
for thanking.
Yes, indeed. And playing, you shall, and welcome. So yeah, thank you all for playing. Thank you, Tom, for joining us at the end. Thank you. And we will hopefully be back next time. Ideally without a 3-week break, but who knows? Maybe it's a 4-week break next time. We'll see.
I hope
Thank you, America.
Yeah, right. I guess it's America's fault now. Say goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
I miss you.
Nico, you're muted.
Oh, goodbye, everybody.
There we go. Bye.